Today. I hope you all had a beautiful week. Okay, so while we wait for some persons to um, join, please exercise a little patience so we can get others on the call. All right, then we'll begin from then. Thank you so much.
It's important that you understand the purpose of a thing. If you don't understand the purpose of a thing, then they say that abuse is inevitable. You're going to end up badly using that thing or not even utilizing it appropriately or optimizing it appropriately. Uh, Okay. Okay. So, as they say, uh, if you don't understand the use of something, then it's good. That's going to be a challenge. Right? So it's important that all of us we understand why we're here. Our school is tied to two very important things: knowledge, everybody. Our school is tied to two very important things: knowledge and more importantly, knowledge is the background or the foundation, but more importantly, it is skills acquisition. And the acquisition of the skills should not be 6 months from now or 1 year from now. It should be today. It should be today. I think one of the things everybody in this life you must know is that you clearly understand what it is that you're doing and where it is that you're going. And I don't think there's any age that you can be where that can be a bit too early. If you're 10 if you're 10 years old and you already know where you want to go and where you want to be, and you can start to put your time and effort towards it. So it doesn't matter what age you are, it should be clear to you what it is that you're trying to do and where you're going in this life. So please, it's important that we all are on the same page. We need to get going with our career, with our skills acquisition line of work. It's about ensuring that we all have great skills, and as much as it's within our own capacity, we will try and ensure that you build great skills. So we already did an orientation about 2 weeks ago. Please, they can drop the link in the chat room. You can just you can drop they can drop the link in the chat room and so that you can go through what we did during the orientation. So you can go through what we did during the orientation. So they can do that. It's also important that they drop the link for yesterday. Uh, that they drop the link for for last week Saturday. Uh, yeah, that they drop the link for last week Saturday. They can also drop that link in the room. In all you're getting, you need to uh, um this, um it's very important, as I said, that you're on top of these things. I have had too many people that are distracting me with one message or the other. It's very important that you're on top of this. So they should please share the link. Everybody, you need to have you need to improve your English speaking. Yeah, I think it's very important that your English and your communication skills that they're top notch. I can promise you, um, if you don't if your English is not great, it is going to stop you from it is going to stop you from getting to wherever it is that you want to get to in this life, ordinarily, especially professionally, especially professionally. If you don't understand English at the level that you're meant to understand it, it will stop you from getting to where you need to get to. So I'm going to enjoin you once again. Take these sessions seriously. Let them share the link, the recording for our orientation day. During that orientation day, we even went through something on Windows. We even went through something on Windows. I can't remember whether it was Windows 10 or it was Windows 11, right? Whether it was 10 or 11 that my colleague Femi took on that day. So these things build up on each other. They build up. So if you've missed one class, you should back onto you should go ensure that you go back onto YouTube to watch whatever it is that you might have missed. These things they build on each other. And if you've missed one part, it's going to affect how you're going to know and understand the other part. I'll quickly share my screen in one moment and I'll go through some of the things that we did during the orientation. There's a reason, once again, why our school is called the Transformation College of Business. So we're very much into business. This business side of things is very important to us. Um, and we will ensure that we deal with it adequately. But we're also very much into technology. In fact, our school is 2/3 technology and 1/3 others. It is 2/3 technology. So we're a technology school. We're a technology school. Ordinarily, we should have called ourselves Transformation College of Technology, TCT. But we understand that not everybody wants to become a technology type expert. Not everybody wants to do that. So it's important that we also bring in the business side. Some people want to be software, cybersecurity experts. So that's why we now named the school Business and Technology. And in line with that, you will see that one of the courses that we're accredited to from MBTE is Business. It is 2/3 technology and 1/3 business informatics, business as it is. Because even within the business informatics, there is a lot of technology that is in there. So, and this is an accredited school. People think that this is a joke. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and the person was asking me that, can I skip year one in a traditional polytechnic or university? I said, absolutely. We're an accredited school. If you go to the drop-down list where you can pick a polytechnic in Nigeria, our name will show up there. So because we're doing it online does not mean it's not a formal school. It is an accredited school. We're audited by the Nigerian Board of Technical Education, like some serious audits. The last time we did they did our accreditation, it literally fell ill. So, and it cost us maybe in total about 10 million bucks or more to get that accreditation. So it's a formal school. You have to pass your test, you have to make your attendance, you have to ensure that you complete all your assignments, and you have to pass the exams. The only difference is that we're not going to treat you like the way a typical school or Nigerian school does it, whereby you come into the class, and then they will teach you A and ask you B in the exam. It's almost like in a Nigerian university, the exams are almost designed to ensure that the students don't pass. That's not what we do here. If we teach you A, We're going to ensure that your exam and your test and whatever it is that we're going to be doing is going to be tied to A. So I believe that different people that are on this call, you're enrolled for different courses. Some people are enrolled for business informatics. Some people are enrolled for computer software engineering. Some people are enrolled for networking and system security as it is. So it's a formal school. It's not a joke. You will not graduate. You will not get your transcript. You will not be able to take it to a university or to another polytechnic except you meet all the requirements because we're an audited institution. And I think that should be known and should be clear to everybody. And I'm hoping that your interaction with us that your life will be transformed. I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that, talking to us, meeting with us, and all that, that your life, um, as a person, as an individual, your life will be transformed as it is. We also running this course. We did it, I think, on Friday. We're going to be doing this over between now and next year. We're going to be doing this between now and end of next year. So this is very important. Some people here want to build their career around digital marketing, which in a sense, I would like to say this is an area of advertising, right? This is like an area of advertising. So this is where some people want to build a career. They want to be involved in branding and advertising, and that's a brilliant area of work. I mean, that is brilliant if you're involved with branding, uh, advertising, and what some organizations call and corporate comms. And of course, this is very practical. So they did it some days ago. And I believe they're going to do it. It's going to be one class every month. It's going to be one class, and then you need to go and pass the exam from Google as it is. So this is important. So you should tell your brothers, your sisters, your wives, your cousins, your enemies, they can be a part of this. And over the next 1.5 years, if they must pass 12 of this for them to be able to get a diploma qualification from us. So once again, these things are very important in here. Um, yeah, our school is very much tied to skills acquisition. I've said it before, I'm saying it again. It's primarily about skills acquisition. How do you get the right skills to be able to take you to where you need to go to? Everybody here, from a career perspective, while this is a school, while what it is that we're doing is very much tied to the MBT, should I say, diploma and the naming convention from them. We have tied these things to some industry careers. So in this room right now, everybody go into the chat room. You must know you can't pick two areas. You must either be trying to become a business and IT analyst, that is from a career perspective, or you're trying to become a software and application developer, or you're trying to become a cybersecurity professional. Everybody needs to go into the chat room right now. Which of this is your choice and it's your focus? Which of this is your choice and it's your focus? And I want to see everybody type because if you're part of this school, you definitely must pick one of these areas. Is either you're trying to become a business and IT analyst, or you're trying to become a cybersecurity professional, or you're trying to become a software or application developer. Absolutely. So it must be clear to you the future, the end point of your being here must be categorically clear to you. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Where you're trying to go to in life must be categorically clear to you. What is it that you're trying to do? Where is the career path that you're building? It must be clear to you. It should not be a surprise. It should not be something that you're not sure of. It must be clear. This is why I've come to Transformation College. This is what I'm hoping to get out of this whole thing as it is. Because if it's not clear to you, as I said, they said if the purpose of something is not known, then abuse is inevitable. So you should start looking at yourself. You should write it on the door of your room. You should write it in your book. Now, in the next 6 months, I will start my practicing. I will be a practicing business and IT analyst, a practicing software developer, a practicing the cybersecurity professional. And over the next 2 years, by the end or at the end of the 2 years, the day I'm graduating from Transformation College, I'll be a full-blown professional in that area. You can start practicing from today, not 6 months. I take that back. From today, I'm going to start practicing, and I'm on the path to becoming a business and IT analyst or a software developer, an application developer, or a cybersecurity professional. So it's not something that you're not in school here just for being in school sake that, oh, I only want to collect the degree or the qualification. It's got to be more than that. So it must be clear to you. You should write it down. If somebody is asking you tomorrow, tell them that I'm an intern. I'm a business and IT intern. Now, right now, I'm an intern, and I'm going to move from intern level 1 to level 2. And by the time I finish my internship over the next 2 years, I will be a full-blown professional. And if you follow our instructions, if you follow the things that we tell you and that we're doing here, I'm promising you, you will be good at what you're doing. So everybody that is a business and IT analyst, I would expect that you're part of that you take advantage of this digital marketing and social media management course. I would assume you should. You should. You definitely need to. Because one key area, I was still with one of my employees yesterday, and I was showing them something. Let me show it to you so that we take it beyond just theory. We take it beyond just theory. We said it was this is what we were looking at. Um, yes. Why is this page not loading? I'm going to show you something. So a lot of banks in Nigeria, okay, good. A lot of banks in Nigeria right now, they are all trying to buy. Hold on. Let me show you like a particular software to drive now. Aha, it wasn't loading properly. Okay, good. I'll show it to my team. This is it. And I'll take a screenshot here and I'll put it in the room. A lot of organizations in Nigeria right now, they're trying to buy this particular set of solutions under this marketing area. I was explaining to my team members yesterday that if you go to meet head of finance and you put this in front of him, he's not going to buy it from you. The lady I was speaking to is the head of our marketing in one of our businesses, and I was telling her and the other guy who's a sales guy, like if you go to meet the head of finance in an organization and you position this page to him, is just going to send you out of his office. He's not going to answer you. If you go to meet the head of IT and you show him this, he's going to throw you out of his room. The only if you're going to be the chief operations officer, chief compliance officer, chief risk officer, all of them are going to throw you out of their room. The only person that is going to listen to you if you take this to them is the head of marketing in the organization. And most organizations have a head of marketing. And I was telling my own head of marketing in that our business that the best person to speak to a marketing person is a marketing person, because they run campaigns, they do surveys, they build websites, they do marketing automation, they do many things. So it is the head of our own marketing, who is more of a digital marketing personality, that is the best person to go to speak to heads of marketing in banks and insurance companies and pension organizations about what we do relative to this software than even the sales guy. And for you to be able to do this, that class that we had yesterday, which we're going to be having once every month for the next 16 to 17 months, is about these things, but looking at the Google versions of these same things. So once again, you've got to be clear on what your career path is. The reason why we're doing doing the other bit that we're doing on the is because some people in your life and in your career, you probably end up being somebody who's going to be in the marketing department. You understanding digital marketing tools and platforms will help you significantly in doing this and in getting it right. And that's what it is that we're doing. Let me move on very quickly. We have a lot to do today. So once again, start to think about yourself. So as I said, I don't expect anybody that is doing a diploma in business informatics that is looking to become an IT a business and IT analyst will not be a part of the digital marketing class, because your knowledge in that class is going to significantly help you. And we have said that if you give us 12 certificates and you've attended, by the end of next year, we will give you a diploma certificate with your transcripts that you've completed that, and then you will also do a project. So it's very important that you follow these things, and that's why you can't work with us. I'm grateful to the likes of let me see some regular people here. I'm grateful to the likes of Abiodun, definitely, and I might be missing some people. I think Jeffrey also. I definitely think that Bade and a couple of other people. Some of those names I'm very familiar with. They literally are the ambassadors of the organization. But it's not only because they are the ambassadors, it's also because they are getting value. And all of us, we need to extend this value to others. Let me move on very quickly. Okay. Um, we did this last year. We're going to do it. We did it last year. We have done it this year. We're going to do it again next year. The registration link is already up and running. So it's our summer program. It takes 12 weeks to be able to get it done. And we expect people to take advantage of that. And we cover a lot of things. We have 3 different sections in there. We've got the part that's got to do with ISO standards, business analysis. We literally cover the entire British Computing Society. Not literally, we actually cover the entire British Computing Society business analysis textbook. And then we have probably what I consider to be the best of everything that is there, the sessions that are tied to personal excellence. All of us, we need to have these things in our personal excellence. And because you've attended the class does not mean that you know everything that is there. No, it does not. Some of these things need to be you need to say it once, say it twice, learn it, and you keep improving. It's like improving your communication skills. I'm a great communicator. I don't consider myself to be an excellent communicator yet. I'm a great communicator, but I'm not excellent yet. So if I feel that at this stage I've already got into excellent being an excellent communicator, I don't think so. I'm always watching some guy on YouTube. His name is Vusi, Vusi. I would consider him an excellent communicator. Now, the guy probably makes, who knows, maybe $500,000 every year from speaking to audiences about entrepreneurship and a couple of other things. That's what I call an excellent communicator. So it's important that we build our personal excellence. So when we're having our English class, go and watch the session from last week. It's on YouTube. They'll share the link with you, and you're going to have another English session next week. All of us need to improve our English. We need to improve our pronunciation. We need to improve. English is the lingua franca of Nigeria. So you can't come and say English. No, you can't sing like what's the name of that man, Shino Peters. English no be my language. Oh, no, you can't say that. Nigeria, we went to nursery and primary school in English. It's the lingua franca of the country. We have no excuse not to be able to speak it properly. You can't say, you know what, I'm Igbo, I'm Yoruba, my mother tongue. Oh, guy, you went to primary school in English. What are you talking about? Then find a way to get your mother tongue away. So, and I'm still improving my English. As I said, I'm a great communicator. I'm not yet an excellent communicator. Nobody's paying me. When people pay me to come to give keynote address right now, nobody pays me more than maybe $1 million to come to speak to the executives. While that I know people in this country that get paid $10 million for an hour conversation, a keynote address at the board meeting of an organization, they get $10 million. I'm serious. 1 hour, they speak English, and in an hour they get paid 10 million naira. Million in this country. You better go and improve your English. You really need to improve your spoken English, your your pronunciation, your use of words. You need to improve how well you're able to articulate yourself in front of an audience as it is. I move on very quickly. Once again, that's what we did. I think everybody, this number 3 and number 4 is is a must have, and we already organized a session that took maybe about 3 or 4 hours. Am I right? Edith, please share the link. Mercy, share the link in the chat room that covered this Microsoft Office. We're still going to cover it in the future, but we've already done an introduction. Just like the Windows one, we've already done an introduction. We did the introduction 2 Saturdays ago. They'll share the link in the chat room. If you've missed those 2 introductions, you'll miss the majority of what it is that you need to learn. I'm telling you, because the foundation is from those 2 places. We're not a bunch of crazy people. We're not a bunch of people who don't know what it is that they're doing, that they just wake up in the morning and they just come up with just anything. These things build up on each other. If you're following the organization, you better truly follow it so that you can get the benefit of the organization. About 3 Saturdays ago, we covered Microsoft Office. One of our participants was the trainer. He kindly offered, and he was the one that did the training. 2 Saturdays ago, we covered some basics in Windows 10, Windows 10, Windows 11. If you've missed those 2 things, I can tell you that most of the other things that we're going to be doing, you're going to struggle. Right? You're not going to get anywhere in any of the courses that we offer if your foundation is poor. And everybody here, we're going to build a program for next year. We're just very busy right now. We're going to build a program where we're going to touch on maybe in the month of January. I mean, we might even start it this year when I've discussed with the team. We're going to 1 month, we're going to do 1 or 2 hours on Microsoft Word, on Excel, on PowerPoint, and some of these tools. You're not going to go anywhere without this. And if you're an expert in the use of this, then you've laid the foundation for you to be able to work anywhere around the world. Anywhere on this human earth, you can work. You can work. Microsoft Office is global. I told them last week or 2 weeks ago, I said, when I went to the UK at some point in time, the guy was like, oh, do you understand? I'm like, dude, Windows is global. It's not local. There's no Nigerian Windows. It's the same Windows, whether they use it in the US or they use it in Iceland. It's the same Microsoft Office. And I'm telling you, if you're on this call, you need to learn how to use Microsoft Office. Honestly, you really need to get very good at Microsoft Office. There's a lady that is doing 6 months internship in my office. I spoke to her yesterday. She's doing video editing. She left everything when she came. She's doing video editing. She's doing content. I've given her an assignment that she has to be a Canva expert in the next 7 days. There's somebody who works with me. She's on this call. I asked her to build a flyer last week. She said, "Oh, I couldn't build it." I said, You have to know Canva, and we're going to ensure that we also we build roll up Canva into our digital marketing course, because Canva is the simplest of the tools, just like Publisher, for creating for as some kind of diagramming and design application. We're not talking about Illustrator or Photoshop or any of those kinds of advanced things. We're talking about Canva. How is it that you're going to be a business analyst and you cannot use Canva? How? Right? How is it that I mean, so you need to learn these things. You will not be able to go. We're focused on skills, brothers and sisters. You will not be able to get anywhere if you're struggling with Microsoft Office. The other thing you cannot afford to struggle with is is this. And we shared this. I believe we've shared one of these documents. And if we didn't share it, the links where you can get them at the bottom, where you can get Windows 11 guide. Brothers and sisters, we cannot teach you everything. That's the trick when it comes to computing. Nobody can teach you everything. You're going to need to spend some of your time just learning these things. You're going to need to spend some of your time just practicing these things. These are two very important documents, and we'll put the links in there. Everything we're going to be doing over the next 3 to 4 weeks, I believe, maybe 3 weeks, or I can't remember. We're going to be doing a lot of computing work. But I can tell you the foundation and the background to all the things we're going to be doing around computing work is tied to two things: Microsoft Office and Windows 10 or 11. If you've missed those sessions, you better go get the link. You better ask for the materials that were shared. There's a material for Windows for Microsoft Office that we've customized, and we keep sharing it. They will probably put it on this link in this training room. If you're struggling with these two, you're definitely going to struggle with today's class. That's because you've not been following us on time. That's because you've not been a part of this thing at the time that you should have been a part of it. But it's not late anyways. And still do it. Once again, business informatics. This is the whole of year one. This is what all of you are going to be doing. Uh, we have an idea you're going to be doing economics. And some people think, oh, I've done economics in school. But it doesn't mean you know everything with economics. I've done economics like 100 times in my life. I still can't teach economics. There's still a lot for me to learn. I still need to improve. You really think I'm there? Of course I'm not. Transformation College is not in 10 or 15 countries. Transformation College is not having a meeting with Bill Gates yet. So we haven't even started. We're just scratching the surface. I think in my career, I've just finished primary school. That's how I think about it. That I've just finished primary school. And if I'm saying I've just finished primary school, a lot of you you have not even started the nursery, because I still have the whole of secondary school in my career. There are people that are global. I don't mean African, I mean they're global. The things that they do, tomorrow they're in the US, the week after they're somewhere in Europe, somewhere they're in one African country or the other. African Union is looking for them, European Union is looking for them. I've just finished primary school as far as I'm concerned. So for the people that are going to be doing business informatics, and business informatics is my favorite of the courses, because I'm not a developer. I understand application development, but I'm not a developer. I'm a cybersecurity professional, definitely, but I mean, but I do more than that. So the thing that kind of aligns to my day job as at today is more on the business informatics side. So you're going to do economics, you're going to do business math, you're going to, the way we teach our things is way simpler than we make sure that you get it. All right. Anyways, this is year 2 for business informatics, but you can't even wait for year 2. You've got to pick these things up today. Today is the day of salvation when it comes to your career. So you need to start to build up on it. And that's why our school is only on Saturdays. So you come Monday to Fridays to really drill down on a couple of things, right? We're also aligning our cybersecurity and our software engineering with aligning it to A plus, something called CompTIA A plus, Network plus, and we're going to be aligning our software development to this particular course. We're going to be aligning our software development to this Microsoft course. This is a global course. So it's not, I was telling James, I said, I don't like patch the course material. I like to focus on things that are global so that wherever it is that you go, you can tell them that, sir, see, everything that is on this software development fundamentals from Microsoft, I can tell you, I can defend everything there. You can tell the person that in your school you were trained with CompTIA A plus, CompTIA Network plus materials. You can tell them that, see, as part of your work, you learned a lot around around core Windows and Microsoft Office. These are all global things. Because I'm not going to go back to start to teach you Windows today. I'm not going to go back to try to teach you Microsoft Office today. We already covered some bits of those same things. And that's why I like this book. It's a bit cryptic in a couple of areas. They're going to share the link in the chat room. We shared it before. You should spend some time looking at it. I've been working around computers for the past 20 something years. I still cannot defend everything that is in this book that talks about how computers work. And this is the 10th edition of that book. Still cannot tell you I can defend everything that is there. So today I'm going to try to go through chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4, and also some material that our good brother here, Mr. James, has also created. And I'm going to try to do them very quickly, right? I always ask people this. Now, can you really stand in front of an audience to defend these 20 things? Can you really stand in front of an audience and defend these 20 things? I've asked this question in the past. I'm asking again. Look at it carefully and give yourself a score. And you can stand in front of an audience over 1 hour without looking at anything. Just pick each of these things and speak about them for 3 to 4 minutes each, or over 2 hours, 5 minutes each, 5 minutes each for each topic. Give yourself a percentage score in the chat room, everybody. Everybody, that it can give you 2 hours to stand in front of an educated audience and you can speak intelligently to them about these 20 things. Give yourself a score. If you like, overrate yourself. If you like, underrate yourself, whatever. Just give yourself a score. And I want to read from everybody. I want to read from everybody. Quickly, give yourself a score. Some people have done this exercise before. I want everybody to do it again. Please, everybody, go into the room, give yourself a score very quickly. Give yourself a score. Come on, everybody. Quickly, quickly. Give yourself a score. Haha. Okay, it doesn't matter, even if it is 5/100, right? So whatever. Everybody, just give yourself a score because this should be one of your objectives, especially it's for everybody. It's definitely for everybody, but especially those that are doing software engineering and those that are doing networking and security, right? It is non-negotiable. So for all our students, it is non-negotiable for you to be able to clearly, because that's how you should measure yourself. That at some point in time, I want to test myself. Can I stand in front of an audience and just speak about these 20 things, one after the other? Can I stand and tell them the difference between an operating system, an application software? Can I tell them the different types of browsers and the purpose of browsers? Can I tell them, speak to them intelligently about application software for the business and other types of application software? Can I speak to an audience intelligently about what is a database? Right? And what exactly do we call utility application software? What is a programming language? What are the three cloud platforms? And you don't need to wait for me to come to tell you this. If I were you, I'll take a screenshot. I'll tell myself during this week, I'm going to use ChatGPT to figure out all these things. I'm going to do the research on these 20 things. I'm going to write them out in my note. I'm going to create a document on my computer. And that document will be an explanation of these 20 things. You don't need to wait for the school to tell you that. You should run with that. It doesn't matter what course you have come to do in Transformation College. Nobody should be in a Transformation College that does not understand what is a casing or panel, the top part and the base. What is a mouse? What are touchpads? What are keyboards? What does a motherboard look like? What does a motherboard look like? What are processors? What type of processor do I have on the computer that I am using? What does the motherboard of this my laptop, what does it look like? What all those small components that are on the motherboard, what exactly are they? What are they there for? If I have a desktop and I see cables within the desktop, cables outside of it to plug it to the network, to plug it to power, what are those cables for? What are the types of cables that you find in computer? That is why you have ChatGPT. That is why you have AI embedded into artificial intelligence, embedded into Instagram, embedded into Facebook, embedded into WhatsApp. You shouldn't wait for anybody to come to teach you this. This is the foundation of what you need to know if you're a student of Transformation College. Maybe James can help us put together a document, James and Sarah. They can put a document together that breaks all these things down, that explain all these things to us. Maybe they can do that. But this is important. You have to understand what is the type of hard drive that you have on the desktop in your office or that you have on your computer. What's the difference if you go somewhere and somebody says, what you said, oh, you're a student, you gentleman, you're a student, you always put it on your status that you're a student of, I'm a proud student of Transformation College. I've seen it on your status. I'm a proud student. And then they wrote business, they wrote IT under yours. Okay, come on, please explain to us what is the difference between RAM and ROM. What will you do? You run out of the room. This is foundational. And James, please take note. Sarah also, because we can create a simple document that can help all our students, but we can even do this ourselves. All of us can do this ourselves. We can say, what exactly is an interface card? What makes up an interface card? Why do I need an interface card? Why are computers, why should they have ports and interface cards? This port that I'm going to plug power or my USB, or the various types of ports that are on my laptop, what are they there for? Because you can see we put them as interface cards and as external ports. I wrote this last year. I can't remember. Oh no, it was this year, earlier this year, because I was going to take an introduction into computing, and this is what it is that I came up with. What is your display screen? What is your camera? How are you going to describe that the hinge on your display screen is broken? What are the types of batteries that your computers use? You know, before laptops used to have batteries that you could take it out. My own laptop, you can't take the battery out except you take off the back of the casing in itself. What is a power supply unit? can your computer work for an extended period of time without battery, without being connected to power? What is a UPS? What is it for? Why do we need something that can store power for a period of time? If you get on a Zoom call, how do you know whether it's the speakers that have a problem or it's the microphone? Or your son wants to connect their game console or any other console to your computer. I mean, we go to churches and we go to mosques and they project things up on the screen and those things are connected to a computer. How do these things work? How do you know if the problem is the speakers or the microphone? What are all the external devices that people connect to their computers? And that's why I also broke it into the things that are kind of physical, which are hardware things here, versus the things that are completely logical, which are the things that are software here. Because you can't hold software. You can hold the media that the software is inside, but you can't hold software. And software cannot work except it's seated on some hardware component, and then the hardware component will read and interpret the software component before anybody can make sense of it. So you can't really say you have a computer if you can't combine what it is that is hardware and software together is what allows you to know computers. If you're in business informatics, knowing this at a high level, it's not bad at all. But if you're in networking, oh my, or you're in software development, oh my, then you must know all this. And you know, we have an internship program, but a lot of people are not ready for the internship program because the internship program, you at least must know how to use Microsoft Office. You at least must know how to use Microsoft Office and you must know Windows. All of you that are in networking and software development, the least job you should be looking to get enrolled on, get hired for, is what we call IT support. Please write it down, especially for those people that are in networking and the people that are also in software development, software engineering, and even for the people in business informatics. It's just that it's much more crucial for the people in the other two. All right. The least job, the entry level job, you should start to plan for, you should start to aim for is IT support. And if you know some of these things and you also can articulate yourself well, then you should apply for our internship program. You should, because we can place you with an organization, but we're not going to place somebody who we don't feel comfortable with their knowledge, with their spoken English, with their appearance. We're not going to place such a person. If you haven't gone through our summer program, diploma in ISS business analysis and ISO standards, the possibility that we're going to ever be willing to place you in front of a client is significantly reduced, if not almost non-existent. So this is the foundation. Over the next 3 or 4 weeks, this is everything we're going to be doing is going to be around this page. All right. Over the next 3 or 4 weeks, everything we're going to be doing is going to be around this page in one way, one form or the other. I'll show you what our itinerary looks like. So as I said, this is part of your assignment. Go and create a document, your own personal document. Ask ChatGPT, ask WhatsApp, all these questions, and create your own manual. It is what I can call the foundation of anything that is IT related. Remember, our business informatics is something that combines business and information technology. That is what business informatics is. Business and information technology management. Right? People even study that at the master's level, especially in a place like the UK. So once again, and that's a brilliant course. A course that allows you to combine the things that are business related with the things that are IT related. I was working with one of the biggest fintechs in Nigeria, in the whole of West Africa. I dare say in the whole of Africa. Throughout this week, they have very smart guys, really smart developers. I mean, like really good developers. I was also with a finance institution that they had more than 500 people there. Right? If you type my name into Google, you will see something on my name and coronation, and we're doing something on how artificial intelligence can help that organization. If you're the people who are going to put artificial intelligence in place, they're a combination of business people and a combination of software developers and a combination of cybersecurity experts. Brothers and sisters, even if we end the course here today, this is the core of the matter. And I'm hoping you take this forward as individuals. All right. So this is what our itinerary looks like. So today I'm going to try to go through a couple of things. We're going to be here all the way till about 2 or 3 p.m. I'll try and make it quick. Well, we're going to cover some fundamentals today and next week. But after that, the team that will be working on the people for business informatics need to come into the business informatics class. But the people that are in software and in networking, they're literally throughout this semester going to literally follow the same thing. Our networking is Network Plus. You can share a book, share a link or with regards to that. Our networking is Network Plus. Our programming is from Microsoft. Our computer knowledge is from that book, The Introduction to Computers, before we then move on to other things as it is. But this is our itinerary. So today we're meant to be doing English, but I had to switch it because I'm not available next week. So that's why. So you have English next week, and I have already done the first layer of the computer. And then from the 12th to the 19th, the computer side will go on while the other students will come back into the business informatics students will come back there. Brothers and sisters, this is the time to upgrade your brain. This is the time to improve, and this is the time to really be focused on your career as it is. All right, good. These, what are your thoughts? What is your big learning point from what it is that I've just covered? I want to open another material to quickly go through it, and then yeah. So, but please, I mean, this is meant to be an interactive class. I should not just be speaking to myself. So everybody, tell me, what is that big thing that you learned this morning? What is the big thing that you have learned this morning? Quickly, just from that initial session that we have had, what is one of the things that you have picked up today? Anybody? Everybody? All right. What is the big thing that you have learned in this over the past 45 minutes there, about or 50 minutes that I've been speaking? What is the thing that is going through your mind? Please, can I hear people type? Whether you're using your phone or you're using your computer, can you please just type something? Just talk to me, please. I beg of you. Say something to me so that I know that I've not just been speaking to myself. Say something to me, please. I beg of you. Say something. What's that song? I just want you to say something. Oh, please, everybody, please say something. Come to the chat room. Share your thoughts with me. What has been going through your mind? Your career? What is going through your mind? What you need to know? How you need to get better in some areas of your life? Say something. Say something to me, everybody. Say something. I just good. Thank you very much, Victor, for that. Very well written. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, Victor, your uh, written English seems near perfect. Right? Yeah. Thank you very much, Michael. Right? Yeah. Thank you very much. Users iPhone. I can't tell who that is. Uses iPhone. Can I hear from all the others? Before we go ahead, can I hear from all the others before we go ahead? Imagine somebody's name is users iPhone. Hmm. Any other person? Any other person? Please, can you drop the link both in the chat room and in maybe on the WhatsApp? Our book, Introduction to Computers. Our book, Introduction to Computers. Can you drop a link so that people can open it? Introduction to Computers. Can you drop a link in the chat room? Edith, Mercy, please drop our Introduction to Computers. Please. All right. Can I hear from others also? Um, glory. So if they are just the finished primary school, where you go enter nursery? Yes, yes, yeah. Olúwa pẹ̀lú mi. Okay. Yes. Oh yes. You might be the best technical person. Edith and Mercy, can you drop our link in the chat room for our book, Introduction to Computers, please? Right? Absolutely. If you might be the most technical person, Hasif, and at the end of the day, you go for an interview and you cannot articulate yourself properly in front of the interviewer, you still will not get a job. You might be the best technically, but your inability to be able to speak properly is going to stand against you. So thank you very much, Ugochukwu. Your ability to articulate yourself is very important. You have to practice it. You have to pray about it. You have to work at it. You have to listen to eloquent people who know how to articulate themselves properly. You will not get to your objectives in this life, and that is a promise. You will not get to where you need to get to in this life if you're not an excellent communicator. You will not get to where you need to get to in this life if you're not an excellent communicator. All of us, we all have the responsibility to improve our communication skills. We all need to be articulate. And I'm hoping that by the time you finish transformation college, uh you 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 will already be that person, right? You'll already be that person that has been able to uh, improve not just their technical knowledge, not just their skills, but also their communication and articulation capabilities. Okay. Yes, absolutely. Covenants. Yes, that's right. Um, yes. And please, everybody, also about Microsoft Word, Microsoft Office. That's very important. Microsoft Office and Windows 11 or Windows 10. All right. Okay, so they'll share the group in the they'll share the link in the WhatsApp group also. They'll put the link here. It's good that you have access to that book. It will help you. That is a promise. It will help you. It will help you in your career. It will help you in your foundational knowledge of this whole thing. And I'm just going to go through for about 5 chapters in there very quickly. I'm going to just open it on my computer and I'm just going to take us through it. There's some portions in there that are slightly outdated, but the fundamentals remain the same. But because I like the book, I even have the hard copy of a much older version of the book. So I'm going to share my screen. Yeah. So I'm going to share my screen very quickly so that we can go through some portions of the book. This one. Okay. So this is the material. For those of you that are doing as I said, this is the book. It's a brilliant book. And it's got a lot of illustrations. Well, you will see that, you know, how computers work, and it talks about the evolution of technology. So it's a great book. We shared the link and it's really good. All right. So I think this is the last version. I don't think this person has written a version 11 or version 12, but the fundamentals remain the same. So here, for example, it just gives you some backgrounds and then it starts to speak about microprocessors and your computer has got all sorts of processors. And that's why you need to go back. Please also share the link. Mercy or Edith, can you share the link to the last 3 Saturdays? Saturday number one is the one where you did the Microsoft Office. That's Saturday number one. Saturday number two is where we did the introduction and we also did Windows 11. And Saturday number three is last week where English was covered. So today I'm just going to try to look at some of these things. It's not a big deal. We'll just look at some of them and then we'll go. We're never going to come to read the whole book to you in the class. That's not the idea. Nobody has the time to do that. You're adults. I mean, if you're above 16, I believe you can get a job. You've already entered adulthood, so to speak. In some countries, you can vote. In some countries, you can get accommodation. Once you're 16, you can be in some countries, even in Nigeria, it was like that, but they're trying to stop it. You can be in the university. And once you're in the university, you're pretty much on your own. So, uh, so I believe everybody that is here, you're an adult of some sort, and that's important. That you can be self-directed. You can direct yourself. You can say, "This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm not going to do." You can do that. You can make your own decisions. Okay. So one of the things somebody had asked me, one of the schools that I've gone to, said, "What's the difference between technology and information technology?" Because people will use those two things interchangeably: technology versus information technology. People will use those two things interchangeably. And these things have evolved. And that is why there's a portion of this thing that's got to do with electricity. There's got to do with electrons. There's a portion of this whole thing that has got to do with mechanical parts and components. There's no going around some of these things. So there's a portion, if we once we start to talk about resistors, capacitors, transistors, all those small manufactured components, integrated circuits, ICs, all those small components here and there, those are all things that come together for you to be able to have a computer. Once again, if you check those top 20 things, they are there. And technology is a much broader concept in comparison to information technology. Technology is a much bigger bucket because when you talk about technology, you're talking about the technology that is even used in making a knife, for example, the technology that is used in being able to make a cutlass, the technology that is being used to make a hole. So technology is much broader, and technology has been around forever. And indeed, there are many sectors or sections or components when we are talking about technology. But we can now narrow it down to information technology. So that's one key thing. Information technology is a subset of technology. So we can narrow it down as it is to information technology. And that information technology, an essential portion of it is what we call ones and zeros. Because without the ones and zeros, you cannot recognize signals. And if you cannot recognize signals, then of course you won't be able to do much. So you can take your phone, everybody, and ask your AI, ask AI on your phone or AI somewhere. Ask it on that, what is the importance of ones and zeros in computing? And can you post what what ChatGPT or what the AI on your phone is telling you? And if you don't know that your phone has got AI, then yeah, okay. Artificial intelligence on your phone. Everybody's got a bot, everybody's got a prompt, something on one platform or the other. Okay. And I'd like to read what is the importance of ones and zeros. That can be one question. Another question you can ask what are the top 10 or 20 components? Please, everybody get out your phone, and if you can post into the chat room, I'd like to see what are the top 20 components of a computer. I'd like to see. Please put some of these things into the chat room. Hmm? Another question can be, what is the importance of electronic signals? What is the importance of electronic signals on to a computer or within a computer, inside of a computer? What is the purpose of electronic signals inside of a computer? Okay, so you can see here tiny invisible ones and zeros. Tiny invisible ones and zeros. Please, is anybody, let me go to the chat room. Is anybody posted in the chat room? Yeah, good. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, so you can see that learning in modern day is much easier. You're seated here right now and you're using your phone, you're using ChatGPT, you're using the AI prompt inside of WhatsApp, and you're asking questions and it is guiding you. So you can see that, and the knowledge has been completely democratized. It belongs to everybody. But skills is different from knowledge. Because if it's just about knowledge, you can go ask ChatGPT anything. Ones and zeros, also known as binary digits or bits, are the fundamental building block of computer technology. They play a crucial role in how computers process, store, and communicate information, right? So it's still that this are the fundamentals. And that's why in that book it says that a lot of these things are invisible. You can't see them. Computers use a binary system, right? When you're programming it or originally, because even the transistors, they're all programmed. There are many layers of programming. There's a programming where you program hardware. There's a programming where you program operating system and compilers. There's a programming where you program applications. There's a programming where you program databases. So the programming is multiple layers. So whether you're programming hardware, programming software, programming databases, it's all going to come down to the combination of ones and zeros and how the ones and zeros are now being interpreted. Okay, so thank you very much, Ugochukwu. Is electronic signals are the fundamental means of communication and data transmission in modern technology. So that means there must be electronic signals somewhere on that motherboard, between the motherboard and other components. That's why I said that you have to plug things to electricity. They play a crucial role in various aspects of our lives. If you come further down, ones and zeros offer a simple and elegant way for computers to work. I also want somebody to post something on what are the top 20 components of a computer, please, very quickly. What are the top 20 components of a computer? Please post whatever it is that comes out of it very quickly. You all that are here, you're my case study of how Transformation College indeed is transforming lives. I know we have a lot of what's that thing called? A lot of testimonials from our summer program, but I want from the actual school. Our summer program is just one of our programs. I want the first set of people that will be graduating in the year 2026. I will do any and everything that is within my power, humanly speaking, to support you to complete this program, to get it done appropriately. Can somebody post the top 20 components of a computer very quickly? So, I mean, a lot of us were not using that simple capability or feature that is inside of WhatsApp. We're not using it. We're not using that simple capability that is inside of WhatsApp. Because if you type it into WhatsApp, it would already give you an answer. Anybody? Very quickly. Sarah, anybody? All right. Anybody? Brilliant. This is what Glory. Thank you very much for this. Glory has posted something here. Is this so? Is this from what's that thing called? This is from one of your AI prompts, right? So you'll see that they're all within the 20 things that I said earlier. Okay. Okay. So please learn to leverage your chat GPT to give you some guidance with regards to whatever you're doing. Yes. Thank you very much, Asif. Learn to leverage ChatGPT to give you some guidance with regards to whatever it is that you're doing. Let me quickly go through this. As I said, You know, I mean, electronic waves and signals, they pass around. They pass around, and so that is why in the entire computing industry, um, in the entire computing industry, there are mechanical parts to making a computer. There are electronic parts to making a computer. So you cannot get a computer out without some people who are like mechanical engineers. You can't get a computer out without some people that are electronic and electrical engineers. And you can't get a computer out without people that are computer engineers. When we say mechanical, everything about mechanical is not about how to build a generator or to build a car. There are mechanical micro components because you have to set up a machine to be able to produce processors. So they're mechanical micro components. All right. And that's important. So once again, you would also learn about this thing we can call encoding and decoding. And you can check once again on WhatsApp. What does it mean? Computer encoding and decoding. What does that mean? And that's why I said knowledge is available everywhere. However, the knowledge is available, but skills is not available. Anybody can cram these things and go somewhere and talk about them. That doesn't mean that the person can demonstrate these things because just the general knowledge of these things is not going to add value to anybody. Just the general knowledge, just because you can quote GPT, is not going to add value to you. It's not going to add, well, it's going to add value to you. It's not going to add value to an employer. An employer is not looking for people who can say, I can go to ChatGPT to find out the answers. Anybody can do that. Employers are looking for people that have specific skills. So electrons are important, electricity is important, the electromagnetic waves, everybody, right? Electromagnetic waves. EMW, you can also ask, what's the importance of EMW or within a computer? So, I mean, I was sharing with somebody recently. I said, it doesn't matter what your line of work is, but you're not going to get anywhere without a computer. It doesn't matter whether you're a medical doctor, you're a nurse, it doesn't matter whether you're a computer, you're a farmer, or you make clothes. It doesn't matter. You're not going to get anywhere without a computer. That's guaranteed. Whatever plan you have in this your lifetime, even if you're an imam or a pastor, you're still going to need to learn how to use a computer. And I don't mean learn how to use it at a high level. You're going to learn, you're going to need to be able to use it competently. Okay. So these are all things that have got to do with the background of computing. And so for some of you that are going to study some of the courses, a table like this, we're going to need to be able to make sense of it. And you can convert, all right? How do I convert a decimal number to a binary number? Or how do I convert a decimal to binary the number? You can put this into ChatGPT. What is the logic for converting binary to decimal or the other way around? And so that we don't make the class too complex at this stage, as it is. But that's why we've shared the book with you. Your computer's got transistors and it's got that. Somebody else should ask, please, I'm expecting everybody will be active and you'll be putting things in there. Somebody else should ask your AI prompt, right? And ask the AI prompt, what's the difference between RAM and ROM within a computer? What is the difference between RAM and ROM within a computer? What is the difference between RAM and ROM within a computer. All right. Please, sorry, I want you guys active with me. Good. Thank you, Shoaib. We have put some things, motherboard, so you can see that. I mean, you can put this together yourself. NIC case, basic things. Okay. Encoding. Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you, Michael, for this. Encoding, conversion of data into binary, representing characters, numbers, and instructions using various encoding schemes. And then you decode, convert binary code into readable data. So you encode and then you decode for human beings. What are the encoding and decoding mechanisms within a computer? That is why knowledge is available everywhere. Artificial intelligence prompts have made knowledge to be available to everybody, but skills are not available. Skills are not available. People can have knowledge, but not necessarily skills. Right? Random access memory, then read-only memory. Right? Random access and read-only memory. Your RAM. In those days when I used to couple computers, you go and you put it's 6 MB RAM or 12 or 16. Now we talk about gig. So if something is not, if you're working on your computer, right, and you have your ROM memory, right? So the RAM is volatile. ROM is even more uh uh so your hard drive, once you have saved something, okay, once you have saved something, right, that is like your hard drive. But while you're working and you have not saved that thing and you switch off your computer and you lose that particular thing, is because that thing was still on your RAM. It hasn't moved to the hard drive. So as I said, Michael, right? The ones and zeros are, it's how computers are programmed. Remember that computers, you have to program even the hardware. You have to even program the components that sit on the hardware. You have to program the operating system. I've said it here today. So the ones and the zeros are the interpretation. So everything you're trying to do must be represented as one or zero or a combination. That is like the fundamentals when it comes to programming a computer. It's a combination of ones and zeros. Okay? So before you now put the ones and the zeros together, you can now compile them and then they now give you a specific functionality. Okay? Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, if you go and buy a computer that has got 1 gig of memory versus the one that has got 10 gig of memory, then one is better than the other. Think about your phone. Everybody, think about your phone. The phone is very applicable here. Think about your phone. Okay? Just think about your phone. And that this is my phone. What does it allow me to do? What can I do with it? How does it work? How much memory does it have? How much storage space does it have? And that's why people will go and buy iPhone 15 Pro Max or something like that, because it should have higher levels of capacity, which hopefully will give you much better performance. So once again, that's what you got. It's a RAM and your ROM as it sees. So what is flash memory? Quickly, what does flash memory mean, and how does it differ? So flash memory is a newer type of memory. All these are, that's why I said, in building a computer, you need a mechanical engineer, you need an electrical engineer, You need a computer engineer. At the very least, you need those 3 engineers before you can ever complete building a computer, because there are mechanical components. Though they might be micro components, nevertheless, they're mechanical components. They're electrical components. They're also computer-based components. What is flash memory and how does it differ from other types of memory? Knowledge is everywhere. Knowledge is on your phone. Before we'll say, let's go to Google. Now we don't have to go to Google. We can just go to WhatsApp. WhatsApp has got AI embedded in it. And it might even give you information that is much more precise in comparison to, much more precise and much better put together in comparison to Google. So you can see now, you can see where the world is turning, turning to. Now I haven't said go and Google it. I'm saying go and check your AI, your artificial intelligence prompt on your computer. Okay? Because computers have transistors, they have capacitors, they have resistors, and they also have integrated circuits. They also have integrated circuits. Okay. So what is flash? Flash is the faster, much faster because of the way it's programmed. Okay. And then of course, all of us, we should know about our CPU. How do we find out information about our CPU? What is a CPU and how do we find information about the CPU? Why is it important? So it's like somebody saying, oh, does the CPU performance also size or capacity also determine its performance? Absolutely. Absolutely, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Without an iota of a doubt. So, and that's why, you know, I remember one of my friends, he'll say that, see, people talk about programming an application with functionality being difficult. He said, what about if you have to program a CPU? Because even the hardware component is programmed, brothers and sisters. Even the hardware component is programmed. It is programmed. Okay. And the CPU is made up of these 2 areas. Of course, these things are completely, they're not visible to the human eye. These things are not visible. You won't see them. Can't tell to the human eye, but they are there. And they also have addresses within that processor, ones and zeros. So maybe in your lifetime, you will never need to be able to do that. Maybe that would never be something you need to be able to do in your lifetime. Nevertheless, at least you should know about CPUs and their sizes and what they're for, what do they do, how many types exist. Right now, you can build your own textbook from ChatGPT. Your teacher only needs to give you the topics. If your teacher gives you 50 topics, you can just go to ChatGPT or to AI on your phone and you can create your own course material. So the days when the teacher or the lecturer will be making their course material look like it came down from heaven. Can you imagine? Like these are African universities. I've been in a training class, I've been in a school before where the person will be like, he didn't allow us to see his notes. His note was a secret. That is the lecturer that it was being paid to teach us. His note was a secret. He will bring the notes to class. He will write some things from the note onto the board. He will dictate a couple of things. Then he hold it. I've been in this country, Nigerian university, where the lecturer comes to class with his textbook, but he doesn't want us to know the name of the textbook. Have you ever had any of such experiences? Please make some comments in the chat room. He will now turn the face of the textbook. He'll turn it down so that it's the back that we're seeing. And when he's going, he will do it in such a way that we won't be able to see the name of the book that he's using as the text for the class. Amazing. Some of these Nigerian universities, they need to close them down. And I went to Obafemi Awolowo University. I mean, a lecturer comes into the class, he has his notes in his notebook, and he doesn't give it to you. He doesn't allow you to make a copy. He does partial dictation and partial note writing on the board. Another one comes to class, brings a textbook, turns it the other way around, dictates some things. They will even wrap the book in newspaper, and they will never tell you the name of the textbook. How do you expect the students to learn? And that's why in modern day, knowledge is everywhere. Nobody can read. It's skills that you need to be focused on, because ChatGPT makes knowledge available to all of us. You can ask your phone now, what is the address? What does an addressing scheme mean, or what does it do? You can. Knowledge is everywhere. Knowledge is not a big deal. The days where people will flaunt knowledge is gone. Artificial intelligence makes that knowledge available to all of us, but it doesn't make the skills available to us. It doesn't make the skills available to us. Those are the limitations of ChatGPT. ChatGPT will not give you skills. Artificial intelligence will not type on your behalf. And so you're going to need real skills. And that's why it's good that all of us will make a clear differentiation between what is knowledge and what is skills. Okay? And we're going to, for some of the people, especially on the software and the networking people, you're going to learn the things called the logic gates. That's what you're going to be doing in that course called the digital systems. What is a logic gate? How does it work? What's the value of a logic gate? Who does this logic gate? The programmer, the person processing, programming the processor. As I said, how many layers of programming exist? Please ask AI for me. Ask AI for me. How many layers of programming exist? Or what type of programming do you do for hardware? How many types of programming exist? What type of programming do you do for hardware? You can ask. How does hardware programming, how does it work? Because once again, so the people that are doing digital systems, everybody that is here for software engineering, everybody that is here for networking, we're going to go through this, but it's not rocket science. It's the logic by which your computer operates. This is your computer. This is my computer that I'm enjoying. This is your phone that you're enjoying. There is a big brained person behind it that has written this logic gates. That there's somebody behind it. And that's one of the reasons why I like this book. And I hope, James, you're looking at it, because in that your digital systems course, look at the steps they've been captured here from step 1 all the way to this place. And if anybody understands and can articulate these 12 steps properly, then they truly can say they understand how computers do their calculation. It's very important. Okay, that's why I said people program everything that is on the motherboard is programmed. Everything that is on this motherboard is programmed. There's a programmer somewhere that is programming the chip, that is programming the resistor, that is programming all the tiny components that you see on that device. Remember, as I said, 3 types of engineers at the very minimum must work together. Otherwise, you will never have a computer. You need a mechanical engineer. You need an electronic and electrical engineer, or more of an electronic engineer, but also electrical to an extent. And you definitely need somebody who is a computer engineer. Okay. And our phones work by this same logic. All of us, our phones work by exactly the same logic because our phones are computers. You can install an application, you can launch an application, you can type, you can do it. Your phone is a computer. So you just breaking down your phone and understanding the processor type and the memory and the hard drive and the motherboard. That's why when you take your phone to Ikeja, those guys, they use a soldering machine and they connect your phone to software on their computer. That your computer has a processor. That your computer, it has a processor. And once again, everybody's computer has got a motherboard. Everybody. These things are programmed. You have to program the chip. You have to program features, program capabilities, program properties into these components. You can ask your AI prompt and say, how do I program the components of a motherboard? You can ask stupid questions. It will give you a bit of an answer. And without a motherboard, you can't have many devices. You can't have a phone. You can't have a computer. You can't have a television. Because especially the smart TVs, all of them have a motherboard. If you connect a flash drive to it, it will work. It's been programmed. A mechanical engineer and electronic and electrical engineer and a computer engineer, they've all sat together to program these things. Right. So please, once again, can you check artificial intelligence? What are the components of a motherboard? Two questions with regards to motherboard. And I'm hoping you're writing these questions down. I'm hoping you're writing them down so that you can go back and you can ask yourself these questions. Those are your assignments. How do you program a motherboard? What are the components of a motherboard? What does a resistor or a transistor do within a computer motherboard? You can ask yourself these questions. This is 2024 going into 2025. So all this is talking about components of a motherboard. So if you look in here, it starts with what? A CPU socket, the CPU, which can be Intel or AMD, all right? And then it talks about the bus on it for read-write operations, different types of bus. Then it talks about the entire motherboard. Then it talks about the various ports that you can plug things into. Then it talks about the power supply connection. It also talks about the memory slots. Okay, and then it continues. It calls something a BIOS that allows you, if your BIOS is corrupt, your computer is not going to start. Basic input and output system. Then it talks about the cables that connect you to the hard drive and a battery and all sorts of chipsets and expansion slots for memory. And you can go online and say, can I see what the motherboard of a Samsung phone looks like or an iPhone? Can I see what the motherboard? You can go check it online. What are the components of a Samsung motherboard? So, an iPhone motherboard. Somebody should check. Is there an image online? The components of an iPhone motherboard. Components of an iPhone motherboard. Okay. And then the various chips that you have in there. So, I mean, without beating this into too much work, but these basics have got to be there. An operating system is different from, so what, that's why I said, how many types of software? Can somebody help me check how many types and categories of software applications exist? I'm going to go to my chat room now. I'm hoping some people are answering. Now, how many types of computer or software, how many categories or types of computer software exist? Operating system versus application software. An operating system versus an application software. So people will talk about Android people, which is an operating system. Talk about the Android gang that are using the Android operating system. So just give me a second. All right, so thank you very much. So good. So for everybody that is doing cybersecurity, everybody gonna learn something called the OSI layer. Please, if you're here and you're doing cybersecurity, you have to learn the OSI layer. So thank you very much, Shuaib. You've been very active here, which is good. Well done, big well done. Um, yeah. So Flash is a faster form of your normal RAM. Yes, and it's got advantages and disadvantages. Right? Okay, I mean, people say they can relate to that. I mean, if Regin Asif says, even in secondary school, Kai, they'll be hiding their books from you. Hey, God will forgive all these our teachers. They will hide their books. They will give you partial notes. They'll give you I don't understand. How do you teach people with partial notes and partial, as in like, how do you intentionally withhold knowledge from the people that you're meant to be passing knowledge across to? Like, some of these people, they should be jailed, really. How do you use newspaper to cover the back of the textbook so that they won't know the name of the textbook you're using? And you're being paid to teach them. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And as I'm saying it, I can remember those my university teachers. They'll come in. The guy will say some things from the book, then all of us will be thinking about how we're going to steal the book, use the secretary so that we can go to make photocopy. And the guy will know that we might be talking to the secretary, then you take it home and put it. Child. Anyways, let's move on. Programming language categories, yes. Web, mobile, scripting, system programming, yes. Database, yes. Functional, game development. So yeah, I mean, so they're different. So programming is in many areas and from many parts and many perspectives. Also, interaction, yes. Machine code, exactly. That's also programming. But I mean, that's only for a few people, some rare human beings who do machine code. And then they do assembly language, then they do low level. So most of us that are saying we're doing application development, the application development we're doing is high level. That one is when we are building like a payroll application. Those ones are high level things. There's some things that are beneath that, and those ones are way more difficult to do than even others. Right? And of course, you've got scripting languages, APIs, and things like that. All right. So a motherboard, CPU socket, the chipset, the memory slots, the PCI Express. Thank God for artificial intelligence prompts. So you see that the school cannot be any longer about passing knowledge across. School shouldn't really be about passing knowledge. School should be focused on what ChatGPT cannot give to you. Because if ChatGPT can give you any and everything, then what is the purpose of school? So school is meant to be geared towards skills because ChatGPT cannot give you skills. ChatGPT cannot teach you how to use Excel. You're going to have to sit in front of Excel, open it, and understand what the menus are and the instance to apply those menus. That's one of the limitations of artificial intelligence. It really cannot pass skills across to you. It can pass a lot of knowledge, but not skills. At least not as of today. Okay. So thank you very much. Here I can see programming a motherboard involves configuring its firmware. So you can see some people, that's their job. They program motherboards. Okay. They will have something, they will have a small platform, and then they will, on inside of that platform, they will now do the ones and the zeros so that it can achieve certain functionality. So there's, as I can see here, low-level programming, assembly language. That's also programming. So, but without those things, you can't have a computer. Without those things, you cannot have. So an application software developer is doing the final end of it. Some people are the ones that do the beginning of it. So when you want to let anybody that is I mean, really, they are wicked. Completely is ridiculous. I mean, I'm almost getting annoyed right now. I'm getting emotional. How can you teach me and be covering the book? You're my teacher. Haba. Okay, you're my teacher. Why will you be covering book for me during the class that you're meant to be teaching me? It's like I am here now, and we're going through that how computers work book. We're going through the whole of the book, and I'll hide it from you. I won't show it to you. I'll only quote some parts, I'll dictate and write, and then so that in the exam I can give you something that I did not mention, something that I did not teach, something that I did not give you a sample question or a test. Wickedness is that. I say, anyways, anyways, I think we'll go for a break. So before we go, software is important. So we can't get anywhere without software. The different categories of the software, right? And that's why I'm happy with some of the things people have put in there. So look at the ChatGPT answers that are there. They're even better than some of the things that are in this book. It's just that because this book is together, it combines a lot of things. So if you really want to go deep, Some of you on this call, you're going to end up working for Intel. You're going to end up working for Microsoft. Now, if you're preparing for that kind of future, it depends on where you want to go to in life. It depends on where you want to go to. Where do you want to go to? Where is the destination for you as a person? You want to work for Microsoft, you're going to really need to understand these fundamentals. You are going to really need to understand these fundamentals. And you can't come to class and think that we're going to teach you any and everything. It's not possible. We're going to teach you some, but we can't teach you everything. You're going to need to spend some time on your own, reading these things, practicing with your Windows. I keep saying it, practicing with Windows and with Microsoft Office. You can keep your, I don't know whether they've shared, please, Edith, if you don't mind, that Windows 10 material, the one that Femi used, put it in the chat room now so that people can see it. You're going to take a computer and start practicing. How is this going to help me here? And we are very Microsoft centric. I'm not very Apple centric. So maybe James will also find us a simple guide to how to use an Apple computer, just like this one that we're sharing for Windows 11. I don't have an Apple computer. I'm a Windows junkie. I'm a Windows fan. I'm very much about Windows. So for the people who are very much about Apple, then you might want to get a similar type guide. And James, who is our academic coordinator, can help. I'm sure he can look for some guide that will help you. But the one we're using for the Windows 11 is beautiful. It's clean. It is clear. It is precise. I don't know whether Edith has been able to share it. Right? So when you start to talk about Microsoft Word and Excel, those are just applications. And in this class, if anybody can learn how to use Microsoft Access, they expect all of you that are in that software engineering class, Microsoft Access is not a nice to have. You cannot be a developer that does not know how to use Microsoft Access. How? You have to really nail down Microsoft Access. And maybe I'll find a guide, to Microsoft Access Guide 2023. Microsoft, right? Right? But you cannot be a programmer because that's one of the best books to help you with regards to you learning programming, at least, especially on the database side, at least initially. And it's very simple, it's very intuitive, it is not difficult to use at all. And it's got the screenshots. It'll tell you, click on this, click on that. But brothers and sisters, you're going to need to practice a lot. So if you're on this call, a material like this for Microsoft Access is not a nice to have, it's a must have. I mean, I don't even want to talk about this university. The thing is almost just getting me very annoyed right now. So I'm very pissed. I'm very annoyed. The people that they've hired to teach us, those people were not really teaching us. They're just fooling around. The people, they hired them to teach us. Instead, the people were hoarding knowledge from us. We, the people that they were meant to be teaching. God will forgive all of them, bro. Okay. Okay, this is the Windows 10 guide. You should start to practice with this, everybody. This is the Windows 10 for the people who have Windows computers. If you don't have a Windows computer, then you have to go and use something else. Go and learn. Maybe, as I said, James might help us, give us something that is as simple as that. I put a link in the chat room, everybody. I put a link in the chat room. Anybody who's having a network problem, it's on your side, not mine. I can promise you that it's on your side, not mine. So we covered this material. It's a simple material. I put it in the chat room, everybody. Simple, straightforward material that will help you just to understand the basics of Windows. Brilliant book. I will help you to understand the basics. This is not the end. Remember, as I said, all of you in software engineering and in also in the networking and security side of things, the easy job you should be looking to get is a job that is called IT support. It's a job that is called IT support. So I put the link, and I've even put the actual Windows 10 simple guide. It's a brilliant simple guide for this. And you can use that. So you need to learn Microsoft Access. We can't really teach you Access here. I can open Microsoft Access on my computer. I can open Excel on my computer. But if you pay attention to IT, to how to use computers properly, it has value both for this world and who knows, maybe even in the world to come. After all, some people said that they saw that in heaven, somebody was driving a Range Rover. So I told the person, if somebody is driving a Range Rover, that means me, I'm going to set up a computer training school in heaven then. Because this Microsoft Office, I'll still be teaching it there. Don't mind all those people. All right. Well, Microsoft Access is brilliant. It allows you to create a database. Everybody in business informatics knows now to use Microsoft Access. Everybody that is in business informatics, all of us. During this week, go and get a computer from somewhere and learn to use it. Let me share my screen. See, I've gone to the templates here. It has some templates for asset tracking. Let me look at the closest for to our school. So let's even look at this one for real estate. Said you can create a real estate database for you, and it will automatically prepare it for you. Isn't that brilliant? Okay. And I know see, you have forms. Look at it. It has pre-created forms. This is what application developers do. I beg of you, go and spend some time learning these things. Look at a pre-created form. So some of you, you will look at an application, you say, how did they do that? You can use Microsoft Access to do it. So you can come in and type the name of the property, the tenant that is there, the start date, the end date, the monthly lease. You can use this to manage that. And it's got other areas there. If it's a new lease, this is what you do. If it's an existing property, you can fill in. Learn how to use Microsoft Access. We can't teach you everything here. So Edith, let us plan the same way we have digital marketing. We now need to plan Microsoft Office, maybe for 12 months. Maybe we're going to start at some point in time. We'll pick one day of the week one day every month is what I meant. One day every month, and we do Word for 2 hours, Excel 2 hours, PowerPoint 2 hours, Access 2 hours, Outlook 2 hours. I'll keep doing it like that for about 12 weeks, for about 12 months. And again, guys, everybody go and check out something called Open Office. And there's a free version of Open Office. So if you say, oh, but me, I don't have access to Microsoft Office, there's another one called Open Office. Once again, I don't know if James is here. James, we might look to ensure that we teach our students Open Office, since a lot of them might not even have Microsoft Office. So this is a lease. This is an application that's pre-built, a pre-built application for that particular industry. If I come back here and I do templates, I will find pre-built databases for different industries. Pre-built databases for customer service, for inventory, pre-built. All right, people. I think it's time for us to go for a break. Okay. I think it's time for us to go for a break. How long do we want our break to be for? 30 minutes, 1 hour? What's your preference? Can everybody type into the chat room? We will come back, we'll spend an hour, and then we'll call it a day, or an hour plus, and then we'll call it a day. So how long do you want our break to be for? Anybody? We'll come back, we'll spend an hour plus, and then we'll call it a day. Ha ha ha. Okay, let me hear from others. Let me hear from others. Let's see which group wins. Let's see which group wins. Okay, now it's a tie. Yeah, now others. Let me see whether there is a tiebreaker somewhere. Come on, others, quickly. I'm going to count 1 to 10. Ah, it's still a tie. 30 minutes is winning. Ah, it's a tie. Huh? Yeah, what else? What else, everybody? No, if we come back in 30 minutes, we'll also finish early. If we come back early, we'll also finish early. So the time now is about 12:10. The time now is about 12:10, everybody. Let us come back in by 12:45. Does that work, everybody? 12:45. Does that work? 12:45. Everybody, please. 12:45. Does that work? 12:45. So we'll just spend about 1 hour, 15 minutes, and we can call it a day. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. See you in a short bit. I hope this session has been useful. I have some other interesting things. These business informatics software people, all of you must know how to use Microsoft Access. And that's why I'm saying to Edith, we're going to plan our Microsoft Office or Open Office Day of the month. We're going to call it an Open Office Day of the month. But it looks as if a lot of people that are here, you're keeping these things a secret. Please share with others, share with your friends, share with your cousins, spread the good news. Let others know what it is. Because if it's of no real value, if we're not getting the right number of people, we have about how many people that we've given admission letters to? What? Maybe more than 50. Am I right? Am I right? Mercy. Am I right?
Yes, boss. That's
I
true.
can't hear you, Mercy. You're always speaking very low.
Yes, boss. Up to
Okay.
50.
Yeah, but you're still too
Yeah.
low. There's something wrong with the microphone on your computer, but it's fine. So, but look at how many people are here. So please speak to people, get them to come in as it is. All right. So yeah, I mean it's 12:10. We'll come back at 12:45. Oluwapelumi will come back at 12:45. All right, everyone.
And so, Cal, it turned out the little AI wasn't a little AI anymore. It had grown into a great, big AI. It was the biggest, strongest thing that had ever been. And it realized it wasn't like a monster. It wasn't.
Good afternoon. Okay. So one of the things I wanted to say very quickly to everybody is whatever it is that you're doing, you need to have a global outlook for what you're doing. Because I mean the world is connected now. It's not like in those days. So in this modern world, you can be seated here in Nigeria. We have a product that we've launched, and it's out there, and people buy it from different countries of the world. We'll check online on one day, we'll see that somebody is buying it from Kuwait. We'll check online because we can tell where the payments are originating from. So we have a product that we built in Nigeria with 3 or 4 staff in the organization. They built the product from beginning all the way to the end, about 4 people. They run the company, and we have people globally who go in there, put their card details, and they run the transactions as it is, and they buy it. So whatever it is that you and I are doing, it's important that we have a global view and a global outlook to it. During the break, I was looking at um um sorry, give me 1 second. I was looking at remote work sites. I was looking at remote work sites, and I was looking at this one. Where is that one? Remotive. And I mean, everybody, you can go online and you can look at remotive.com. I mean, there are all sorts of remote work sites. This site, in fact, I first did a search for the top remote work sites. And that's why I always tell people also, when you come for this class, you're better off with a computer. You know, some of you that did our diploma program, the people that always get the best out of it are the ones that are seated in front of a computer. The reason why a lot of people that have attended that diploma program will end up still not becoming business analysts is that they were listening and then they passed the exams. As I said, this is modern day, everybody. This is 2025. And I like to call it 2025 because I know I'm going to see everybody in 2025. Nothing missing, nothing broken. I'm going to see everybody in 2025. So the thinking around this whole thing it has to be different. The way you think about your career, the way you plan your career, the way you even see your own self, you've got to take a global view of what it is that you're doing. You've got to realize, that somebody might call you from I need to put this in the chat room. So I mean, I was looking for remote work sites. I put it in the chat room, everybody. For what it is that you do, somebody can call you from any part of the world and say, can you provide this particular service? Some weeks ago, I was doing something for somebody in Rwanda. In another couple of weeks, I'm going to be doing something for somebody, for an organization that is seated somewhere in where are they again now? They're they're of German origin, but I think now they're operating in some portions of Africa. So things are different now, everybody. Things are different. So with the work that you do, with the way you see yourself, with the way you're planning your career, you have to have it's compulsory for you to have a global outlook. It's like saying this class that we're having right now. By next year, we're going to have a lot of people that are going to join from different parts of the world. At least I can guarantee that we're going to get a lot of participants that are going to join from Ghana. So if we start to have participants that are joining from Ghana here, that already means that we are beyond Nigeria. And the quality of the work that we're doing is going to be subjected to that international expectation. Nobody is going to come and say, oh, don't worry, they're just a Nigerian company. No, the people, you put yourself out there. You have a website, you're doing a lot of things on social media. The world can can patronize you. So it's very important that as you learn these things, you think about a global audience. And what about if somebody wants to hire me and the company that wants to hire me, they're somewhere in the UK? Am I good enough to work in the UK? Do people that work in the UK, do they have two heads? So if you go and check, as I said, look at what I put in the chat room. There's so many websites that it's only remote jobs that are on those websites. You know what the problem is? It is your skills. It's not your knowledge. It's your skills, because those organizations are not overly worried about your knowledge. They are worried about your skills. The person that they want to give the job to is not somebody that can demonstrate knowledge. Remote work. So when people are seated in Nigeria and they say, I don't have a job, it's because you are not good at what you do. Call it the right name. Because when you've called it the right name, then you can start to look at how to resolve it. There are hundreds of websites that the only job that they post is remote work. So there's nothing about traveling. There's nothing about like, I don't live in England. I don't do this. It's all remote work. So look at this on this website now. I put digital marketing. So look at it, digital marketing, graphics designer, project manager, digital marketing project manager. But people don't even know that these things exist, because they don't have a global view of themselves. They think that, if an insurance company in Nigeria does not hire them, that's the end of life. They don't know that there are sites that exist to only hire remote people. Look at this now. We work remotely. That's the name of another site. Look at some of the jobs that are there. Some technical, some non-technical. Junior recruiter, growth manager means somebody who is in sales. So, but Most people will go for look at this one, looking for a virtual assistant anywhere in the world. And all these monies they get paid. I know people who do this job. At least my very good friend, Akinwale, he's been working with me for maybe 15 years. We've been working together. In those 15 years, apart from myself and one other company, the bulk of the money that he has made and all that, it comes from remote work. He has an account on Upwork that he makes so much money from. Why? Why is it look that's him? Why is it that he gets this is him? Now, this is what he does. And look at all his history. Can anybody see my screen? Anybody? Can you see my screen?
Yes, Doc, we can.
Hello? 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 Anybody home?
Boss, we can see your screen.
Mercy, I can't hear you.
Wow. Boss, we can see your screen.
Okay, but what can you see on my screen?
It's a markdown. It's not rendered.
Exactly. Good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is Akinwale. Look at it. This is the account that pays him the most amount, and he has been working on this Upwork for only God knows how many years. And people pay him 10 hours, 20 hours, 40 hours, 50 hours. He lives in Nigeria, earns in dollars. Why is he able to do that? Is it because of knowledge? No, it's because of skills. It will always come down to skills. So my point is, all of us, we need to have a global view of ourselves. This is 2025. I keep saying, it's different from the past. Somebody can hire you seated in Lagos to do one thing or the other. The problem is, do you have the skills? If I put something like cybersecurity here, I can just imagine the volume of things that will show up there. Do you have the skills? It's a question you need to go back home. So we're talking about my computer now, right? And I have to come to, okay, so let's say I have to come to my control panel on my own computer, right? If you don't know how to get to your own control panel, how are you going to be able to do anything on your computer? So, and you're not going, the only way for you to do this is that you're going to spend some time learning it. You're going to have to spend some time going through your own computer, picking each of the menus and clicking on them. Okay, what does storage space say? What about file history? This one called system. What is it saying to me? Showing me about my computer. It says that my computer is 11th gen. Core i7, okay? And that I have about 16 gig of memory. And that my operating system is 64 bits. And that my computer is running Windows 11 Home. If you cannot find this on your computer, reading it and passing an exam is not the answer to it. You have to sit on your own computer. You have to click on network on your own computer and say, okay, you know what? How do I set up a VPN on this computer? You have to come to your computer. One of the most one of the most unused applications in this world is Excel. The average person does not even know how to use Excel at all. If you come here like this now, and I come to new, Excel, just like Access, has got pre-built templates. That means I can look at my business and say, okay, what's my business? I want to create an invoice, or I want to do employee absence, or I want to do sales, I want to create something for a project tracker, or I want to create something for an expense report. Instead of me even thinking about how to put it together myself, I can as well just come here and think about what is it that I want to do, and I can click on it. So if I have a shop and I have inventory of materials or clothes that have not been made, I can come here, I can click on create, I can come in here. You see, it has created it for me. I can delete some of the things that are here, so that I can now start to create my own inventory ID. I can delete these things and start to name each of the I can do this and start to name the things. And by the time I spend a couple of hours here, I'll have an inventory system in my organization, because it's already done some thinking for me. It's giving me an idea of how to build inventory ID, the name, the description, the unit price, quantity stock, and all that pre-built inside of Excel, completely pre-built. This is skills, because ChatGPT is not going to help you with that. You're going to need some skills. You're going to need some practice time to be able to do it. If I was running let me see. Good. So if I want to do an expense report, I can do this. I want to be able to track all the expenses in my business. And look at it. It has given me the format for an expense report. It's there on my computer. So all I need to do is just come and start filling it, and then I maintain it. But if you don't know about Excel, you don't even know that there are templates in there. You will not have any idea. So you're going to go to an office, instead of it to say that to tell them during the interview that I'm an expert in creating expense reports, I can format it, I can do this, but you don't even know that there's an expense report, so you don't know what to say. I mean, so these applications, they're for real. Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel. I mean, I use PowerPoint literally every day of the year. I can tell you that for free, and I can show it to you. I had night vigil yesterday night, and I was the one that preached, and I can show you what I preached about. All right. And immediately they said I was going to preach, and it was an online night vigil. I created my sermon, and this is it. So
Online night vigil. Online
yeah,
night vigil. People will sleep now. That one
oh
alone,
no,
people.
no, we do it. People don't sleep. Trust me. Trust me. We've been doing it for a long time. Trust me. Yeah, because where our church is, it's not very safe for people to come there at night. It's the one I attend, so it's not safe. And then we actually get way more participation, because people log in from different places, and we don't do it for 5 hours anyway. We usually do it for just about 3 hours. So this was my sermon. Everything that I did yesterday and spoke about and even prayed about is on my screen. I went out, I got back home about almost 10 o'clock. I started working on this, highlighting the key things I wanted to say, bringing some things from other places. And this is PowerPoint, and this is what I used at 12 a.m. when 12:15 when I started preaching this morning. Everything I do on PowerPoint. Literally, all my thinking, I don't write. All my thinking is primarily inside of PowerPoint. This is something that we're doing. I mean, this is something I'm doing for an organization. I've given them a draft. This is the draft that I've given to them. Now, instead of me sending a very long, lengthy email, I sat on my computer. It just took me like 5 minutes or something to do, and I shared it with them. I do all my thinking on my computer. My thinking, my planning, everything that I'm doing, literally. I mean, I'm doing something in a discipleship school. I had a meeting. This is everything. It's all on my computer. So that's why you always see me sit down on my computer, because any and everything that I'm doing is on my computer. Edith and I were working on this some weeks ago. This is on PowerPoint. The thinking is on our computer. I wrote this for a client. I just sat on my computer and I wrote a delivery methodology for them. So once again, brothers and sisters, you really need to get on top of these things. You really need to get on top of these things. You need to get on top of them. So even while you're attending this class, you really cannot afford that all your attendance will be on your phone. You know, if you ask Edith or Mercy, they'll tell you that when we had, what's that thing called? When we had our summer program, we taught people how to use about 10 different applications. You know why most of the people don't know how to use those applications and they can't get a job, despite the fact that they passed all the exams? They actually don't have the skills to use the apps. They watched the trainer do it, they listened to it, but they never practiced it. They watched the trainer, they heard the trainer, they passed the exam, but they never practiced the application. They will never be able to get a remote job as a business analyst. It's not possible. So it's important that we learn these things. We're learning about computers today, right? There's so many things on your own computer. Because when you're learning about computer, the real focus is your own computer. Because that's what you need. Any and everything you need to learn is typically on your own computer. I can create a profile. I create company profiles for people. I used to. Don't do it any longer. Because I see people just struggling to create a company profile, and I can just sit on my computer in an hour or something. I would have created a company profile about us, who we are, what we do, how we do it, our sample clients, our contact address, and I'll add pictures, add this, add that, and in 30 minutes or an hour, I'm done. And some people can't create their own company profile, even within my own organization. We're learning about computers. There's some theoretical parts that you need to know. There are things that you need to know based on the curriculum, the history of computers. You can even go, I'm sure you can go to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT can give you the history of computers right now. I'm sure that if you go and do it, you can say history of computers, ChatGPT will give you something. It will give you the history of computers. It will. It can easily give you the history of computers. But so somebody should try that. The history of computers. Another person should talk about historical generations of computers on WhatsApp. You will see things there. So I need to get everybody in the right mindset to get value from this whole program. Because this is not a traditional, we're not just here so that you can collect a degree. You know, all of us went to school, and all we really had at the back of our minds is that we must collect that degree and then go. But we're not focused on the degree. You will get the degree, but we're focused on what you're going to do even before you get the degree, so that there is value for your time in the organization. And indeed, that is extremely important. Let us move on. I have a presentation that that has been created by James, our academic person, and I'll quickly go through it. A lot of it is just tied to there's some history. So if anybody finds a history of computers, or the various generations, historical generations of computers, put it in the chat room. But as I mentioned, this is not about not just knowing things. This is about doing things. Of course, if you're going to do effectively, you must know. So we're not underplaying or ignoring knowing. Right? We're not on the plane or ignoring knowing, but with all your knowing, you have to now get skills. You need to get some solid skills. This is why Nigerians struggle when they travel abroad. This is why people end up doing the jobs that are beneath their qualifications, beneath their experience. There was a lady yesterday that I spoke to. Oh no, not yesterday, some days ago. And I was asking her something, and she said, oh, she works as a nurse. And I'm like, how is it that you're an engineer? Why is it that you work as a nurse? It's because she studied engineering, never practiced engineering, worked in a bank as what's that? Customer service and bank operations and marketing, then went to the US. So engineering skills she does not have. Specific computer skills she does not have. And of course, she's gotten older. She's almost 50. Now she's a nurse. She's not even a nurse because you have to go to school to become a nurse. So she's like a nursing assistant. So this is somebody with excellent qualifications, excellent experience, but what they're measuring outside of the country is different. So, I tell some of my clients, please put those things in the chat room for me, the people that are checking the generation of computers, the various generations of computers, and the history of computers. I was telling somebody, I said, see, in Africa, or I tell my clients, I tell them that in Africa, people hire you for breath. And I can tell you that they hire you for breath. They need to know that you can do A, you can do B, you can do C, you can do E, you can do F. They hire for breath. But abroad, all right, they hire for depth. So they want you to do one thing and be an expert in that particular area. They want you to be a software engineer. Somebody said, okay, yeah, no, I don't have anything on my screen here. They want you to be a software engineer, and they want you to be a deep software engineer. They want you to be a cybersecurity specialist, and they need you to be a deep cybersecurity specialist. They want you to be a business analyst. They need you to be a deep business analyst. So outside of the country, they need you to be very vertical. But in Nigeria, in Ghana, they need you to be very horizontal. Did you get that? Please write that. The outside of the country, that's why I said you have to have a global view. You have to have a global view of yourself. You have to have a global view of your skill set. You have to have a global view of the possibilities. There's so many remote work sites. There's so many remote work sites. So while we are learning some of these things, please pay attention to how do I turn this into skills? How do I build skills? That is a constant question you need to ask yourself. How do I turn this into skills? How do I build skills as it is? I've already covered the majority of what is in go and learn Microsoft Word. Go and learn Excel. Go and learn PowerPoint. Go and learn those applications. Go and learn Canva. And don't learn them at the surface level. Go and learn Windows 10 and Windows 11. Don't learn them just at the surface level. Go deep. That is what those things, I always tell people, I make a joke of it, but they don't know how serious it is. I said, if your Excel knowledge significantly increases, and I dare say your Microsoft Office knowledge significantly increases, some of the demons that are chasing you will drop off. They will go back because of the entire professional workforce. It is only about 10% of them. And I'm talking about professional workforce. It doesn't matter whether they work in telecommunications or they work in financial services. Just about 10% of them can score 50% when it comes to Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And that is a promise. I can tell you that. Most people cannot score 50%. Professional use of Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And that thing is a big challenge. So this is our course, right? I'll share the screen now. Our academic coordinator said, well, as part of this, I should still ensure that I speak about these things. Normally, I've done so many training classes that I create the slides in the class. I mean, that means I'm with the participants. We're online like this, and I'm creating and working on the slides because I'm sharing thoughts, and because I don't want those thoughts to be lost or to be missing, I um I type them out in the class. Every time I have a meeting with people, internal meetings, external meetings, Edith is here, Sarah is here, some of my colleagues are here. I make sure that by the time we speak, even at the beginning of the meeting, I start to type so that we don't lose the conversation. Because people will say they can't remember. People will say that they forgot it. People will even say that I didn't say something. Okay? So once again, it's very important that you get this. So I'll quickly go through this. I mean, definitions and these kinds of things, they're good because, I mean, these things are still captured inside of what's that thing called now? Of the MBT course curriculum. Now, that's why I was asking somebody to tell me about the evolution of computers. Please, can somebody put it in the chat room? The evolution of computers and the various generation of computers. The evolution of computers and the various generations of computers. Because that's what this is talking about. That, oh, this is how computers have evolved from abacus to something called a Pascal line to all sorts of things to this present day, so to speak. So it's good. It's good to know these kinds of things. It's good to have this kind of information. It's good to learn this so that you can pass an exam, but this will not get you a job. This will not get you a job. And for us, people need to have a job. You need to at least be an intern. How can you be with us for 6 months and you cannot get a job of 40 or 50,000 naira? It doesn't matter your age. How? How is that? That means you're not learning the right things. That means you're not paying attention to the right things. That's what it means. It means you're not focused on the right things. So there's the historical development of computers from abacus to Pascal line and to the modern computers that we have. And then, of course, there's also classification of computers. That's why I was asking that somebody should help me with the generation of computers from the much older ones that used to use vacuum tubes or transistors and integrated circuits and microprocessors to newer ones that use quantum computing and nanotechnology. Now, if it is Nigerian University, you can imagine that, of course, that's what they want you to do. The man will tell you about a lot of stories around, oh, this generation of computers. It's useful. It's great to know that, but you're not going to use that to get a job. And I'm interested in you getting a job or starting a business. Though I never encourage people to start business. Business is too difficult. You must really be willing to make a lot of losses. Your back must be very hard, and there's opportunity cost. So while you might end up not making it in business, it's very easy to make it in a job. You just need to have the right skills, the right personal skills, the right social skills, the right technical skills, and you're fine. When in business, it takes way more than that. So many generations of computers. I can remember I'm sure if I open my computer, I'll see a presentation that I did on quantum computing. I think and I did a presentation. Yes, this is my presentation. I did a presentation for NCC, I like to believe, at some point in time. It was on quantum computing and what are the risks of quantum computing and how can we manage this. So you can see this was my presentation to the entire audience in Radisson Blu some months ago. The risks around quantum computing. And I talked about this and I talked about all this. And I'm sure I created this slide that morning. I talked about some use cases of quantum computing in various industries. Talked about what is a risk. And then I talked about the 13 risks that come with the growing power of quantum computing, like that, like that, like that. And at the end of the day, there was a set of recommendations. Now it doesn't matter if you take me to Redmond, you take me to the United States. This presentation is valid anywhere around the world that you decide that you're going to take me to. It is still the same presentation I'm going to give. I'm not going to give a different one, maybe better as of today, but it'll be the same thing. It'll be the same thing. And that's why you have to ensure that your skills and your capabilities, you're thinking about the world. The world is our oyster. You have to think broadly as it is. Okay. So let me go back to the slides for today's class. And I'll round it up very soon because so the generation of computers. So everybody talks about artificial intelligence. Everybody's talking about artificial intelligence. And I was working with a client this week, next week, I'm speaking to the entire insurance industry on artificial intelligence. We're working on the content as we speak. The importance of artificial intelligence tied to insurance processes. So, that's what it is that I'm presenting next week. Artificial intelligence tied to insurance processes. Okay. So look at it. How can artificial intelligence help with regards to the strategy and product portfolio? All right. How can artificial intelligence help with regards to marketing and insurance and then insurance products? How can artificial intelligence help with regards to the sales of policies? How can it help with regards to determining transaction and policy risk, determining premium, looking at the actual insurance policy in itself? How can artificial intelligence help with payments, with claims, with agents and broker management, with reinsurance, fraud and error detection, and customer service? This is part of my presentation next week. So I'm now going to look into each of them. What are the types of insurance that exist, and how can artificial intelligence work? Underwriting risk, how is it going to help? If you take me to Redmond, take me to California tomorrow, this is still valid, irrespective of anywhere around the world. That's why I said you need to have a global view of your own self and of your skills and of your possibilities. You can be global. You can. Of course, there used to be analog computers, and now we have systems that are much bigger and better. Your aeroplanes cannot fly without these systems. Electricity, you can't update electricity without these computing systems. There's no place where they're doing mass production that you can get it right without these systems. So it's important that you get these things right as it is. So there are many challenges. So there are many challenges that that computers help you fix. There's so many challenges. I think in one of the slides, right? Everything will be incorrect without computers. The accuracy will be doubtful, the correctness will be doubtful, the completeness is going to be doubtful. Everything that's got to do with information and data is going to be a challenge without computers. How you collect the data, how you analyze the data, how you assemble the data, how you manipulate it, how you present it, how you report on it, everything is going to have a challenge without it. So, and indeed, computers make sense. They help. In a place in very advanced places, you can imagine in a place like Dubai that all their computer systems go off. People are just going to die. because a lot of people are on all sorts of machines in the hospital. Those machines are connected to electricity. Electricity is powered by computer systems. So there is no part of human existence where computer is not applicable. There is no part. I mean, there's even church management software. There's mosque management software. Right? So while even the religious houses are trying to ensure that they can manage their operations, because the church does not want to collect offerings and collect rights from you, and then the money gets stolen or it doesn't get accounted for properly. They want to account for attendance. They want to publicize their programs via digital platforms. I mean, there is no area of human existence where complete of this earthly, let me put it like that. We don't, all right, this earthly human existence where computers don't apply. Everywhere on this earth, computers apply. We've talked about things like this, components of a computer, and I'm sure we can share all the slides and not the secret input and output devices. But this is not a computer school like you're gonna pay money to go and learn computer. Okay, get on your computer, get on your Windows, get on your MacBook, get on your on Microsoft Office or whatever kind of office application, and start to toy around with it. Start to ask yourself that, can I create a spreadsheet? Do I even know how to open a spreadsheet? Can I write my own CV? I mean, if you can you write your own CV? If you're in this class and I give you a computer, and I've done it to a lot of people, they come for interviews. I say, okay, come and have your seat, and I open Microsoft Word. I'm like, type out your CV on a page, and then you start to see the people don't know how to type, they don't know how to format, they don't know how to do pretty much, they don't know how to use a computer. So you can learn all these things because of exam, but that's not really what matters. What matters is your dexterity and your competence with regards to the operating system that powers your laptop and the various applications that you're meant to be using for your daily life, your business, so to speak. So these are all basic things. What components of a CPU, components of a computer, these are like, Nigerian curriculum type things, which is fine. So we've covered it. I mean, I've covered it before. We're covering it again, but, but nobody was going to hire you because you know how to, because you mentioned the names of computers appropriately. It's definitely beyond that. Nobody's going to hire you because you mentioned the name of the element of a CPU. That's not why you're hired. And that's why I keep ringing it into everybody's head. Knowledge versus skills. Two different things. What is a programming language? This is what we like in Nigerian schools. The programming language is something that is used to do something, all those terms and definitions. Why are they asking you terms and definitions? How's that going to help? Why do you need to memorize and to be able to regurgitate something that you read? Does that translate into you being able to be skilled? And we're a skilled institution. That's why we're a polytechnic. Transformation College is a polytechnic. We give national diploma programs, and we're about to move to the upper level, which we're going to be giving higher national diplomas. And that can be the only qualification you're going to have in an entire lifetime. But we're not worried about our qualifications. We're worried about the skills that our students take out of this place. So, because people have qualifications, but they don't have skills. I still saw somebody yesterday that has a master's degree. She's never worked. Pretty much, never worked. Never worked. BSc, master's, never used it to work. So if it's about learning definitions and things like that, you can definitely use your AI prompt to help you. What is a language? What's a computer language? What's a programming language? Right? Language like English, computer language, like then ones that allow you to be able to program. Nice. That's good. low level versus high level. I won't even. So, okay, low level languages, those are the ones that say you program hardware. You know, I say you can use it to even program hardware. You program hardware, you program middleware, you program operating system. Before you now start to talk about business applications like Word and Excel and HR and finance applications. Okay? Let your career path be clearly in your purview. Let your career path, let it be clear in your purview that this is where I'm going to career-wise, and I'm not going to be able to get here, and we're not going to be able to get to wherever it is that we need to get to if we don't get on top of this. We will never get to our destination if we don't get on top of this. So yeah, source program, object program, original source code written by a program, machine code or version generated after the source code is translated. This is why the educational system is very boring. But the educational system focuses on what we can almost say things that you cannot draw a line to them being practicable in the right sense. Because if you walk out of this training today, and all you know is that you know the difference between source program and object program, how is that going to help you at work? That's why I've taken my time to talk to you about Word and Excel. That's why I opened Microsoft Excel, showed you some templates, because tomorrow morning, even this night, you can get value from that. And that's what we try to do in Transformation College, to ensure that we, what's the word now? We jazz up. Well, we spice up. It's probably a better word, because when I say jazz up, people know, they won't know whether we're talking about Babalawo jazz or whatever. To spice up the curriculum, we include a lot of things to make the curriculum better, nicer, cleaner, more interesting, and it will have more practical than just the theory of things. More practical than just the theory of things. That's why we're Polytechnic. We're focused on practicals rather than on theory as an organization. You also have translators like an assembler, a compiler, an interpreter. You should read these things. We're going to ask you some of these things during the exam. We won't ask you something that we didn't teach you. So we'll share the slides with you. We share the recording. The one that will convert assembly language into machine code, translate source program into machine code, and then an interpreter. You won't even understand this except you actually have, like, what's the name of that thing? Visual Studio or some other set of applications that are the right things to demonstrate this. So because Visual Studio can, in a sense, at some level, probably act as an interpreter and maybe a compiler of some sort. And then you have other types of applications in there. And then, of course, processing modes. So this is just the curriculum that you can do some processes in batch or in real time. Most people don't worry about batch any longer. It's like saying you want to you want to use your banking app, and then they now say, we'll do it later. What does that mean? You want to transfer money and you need the person to get the money now. So everything that is the world is using as of today is real-time processing. Nobody's using batch processing any longer. Nobody's doing that. Okay? Online processing, time sharing processing, right? You and I log on to we log on to Facebook, we log on to Instagram, we log on to those platforms. They're all online platforms. Okay? And they're all time sharing platforms. So they're all online platforms, they're all time sharing platforms. Right? So too many categorizations here, but once again, interactive process, because in modern day, all these things are all combined into whatever applications we're using. Instagram is an application and it's interactive and it uses multi-processing, right? And it uses distributed and it uses because there's a massive infrastructure behind it. So if you don't know how to start a computer, well, This just tells you should know how to do the following. You should know your own desktop. You should know how to change something on your desktop. You have to know how to use certain applications. So this one, we're not computer schools. I can't start to say, okay, so if you want, I'll probably show you some. How do you create a folder on your desktop? So you now open Microsoft Word, you now label it, you now create a folder, you now go and save it inside of it. Yeah, some people need to start from there. It's not bad, but you're going to have to put a lot of time to this. This thing don't get, it doesn't have a lot of gist to it. The gist is that you have to spend time. You have to spend time. It's like if I go to University of Lagos now and I now go to apply that I want to study law. You know, I'm going to have to go back to what's that thing called? SSE to go and do literature, to go and do some of those things before they can even admit me for law. So, and I'm not going to assume that because I am almost 50 years of age, I automatically know everything about Shakespeare and the types of literature and all those things. No, I'm going to have to give it time because I'm not going to use age or my world experience or my business experience or my IT experience to understand literature. I'm going to have to really get what they expect from me. Even if they ask me about civic education, I'm going to have to drill down into it. So the way to know how to do all these things, all these basic computer things, right, is to spend time on your computer. We have different guides. Edith, I was asking that, oh God, why is it a problem to just share a document in the chat room? Mercy. We have a document now, eh? A simple document that we have for Microsoft Office. Share it in the chat room. I said it like 3 times. So you can format your hard drive and decide on things like that. All right. So there are many things on your computer. I mean, you can create a password onto your computer, username and password. You can connect it to a network and things like that. So, of course, everybody should know what a network is: a physical network and a virtual network. A physical versus a virtual network. Okay? You really need to ensure that your brain wakes up because we're talking about you being global. I mean, our students, we need them to be global. We need those references. We need our students to say that because of the things I learned from Transformation College, I've gotten a job here. I've been able to do this. I'm doing remote work. I'm earning X amount of money per hour. Imagine earning minimum wage. Can you somebody help me check at AI and say what's the minimum wage in the US? Like the least amount of money that legally you can pay somebody. If you don't anything outside of that means that you're doing under the table payment. What is it? Can anybody check? Is it $15 per hour? Can anybody help me check? Is it $15 per hour? So imagine earning that amount of money in Nigeria. You're going to pretty much be like a local government chairman. Because that means if you work in a day, you can get about $100. I mean, imagine living in Nigeria and every day that you go to, right? And you're not a director, you're not a director in an organization. Every day you go to work and you come back, you get $100 in Nigerian money. Can you imagine? That's the least amount of money that those remote work sites are willing to pay. Do you know how much $100 is in Nigeria today? Isn't that like 170,000 naira? Really? Even if they take all your taxes from there and you're still left with 100K, that's still a lot of money. Every day you go to work, you get 100K. You go to work 20 days a week, you get 2 million bucks. Wow. So that's why those remote jobs, they're good. But they will not hire you because you won't have the skills. There's a lot that you need to know before you can do remote work. So once again, networking, the guys that are doing networking, OSI layer is important. There are 2 ways to learn OSI layer. All people seem to need data processing. That's one acronym. All people. That's the one we call top down. All people seem to need data processing. The bottom up for OSI layer is something we say, please do not throw sausage pizza away. It's very important for the software developers and the people in networking. You need to understand the topology of a physical network. But most organizations don't use a physical network any longer. Everybody uses cloud. Everybody has moved to the cloud. Without cloud, there'll be no Facebook. Without cloud, there'll be no Instagram. Without cloud, there'll be no all those organizations that you and I will enjoy won't have them. So part of the curriculum says you should learn the search engine and all these kinds of things. How do you send an email? You know, all of us need to have an account, one email account or the other that we're using, that we've set up properly, formal and the informal one. How do you attach a file to your email? As it is. And then we've talked about an operating system like Windows and the many things you can do in Windows. You know, if you go to a computer school, they'll tell you to do something like this. Let's see. You open Microsoft Word like this, a Word. Okay, hold on. So to tell you, I don't know whether you can see my screen. I'll go and open Word. And I click on the Word. And then Word opens up. And I decide whether I want to use the template, because there are also templates inside of Microsoft Word. Okay. So I don't know whether Sarah is on the call. And I'll tell you that you should do something. Look at even events document and all sorts of things here. So there are all sorts of templates there. So you make a decision. Do you want to use the templates or do you want to type out? So in this instance, I just want to type out things myself. And then I can say top 10 things. Okay. So I can say have a global outlook. I can say review remote work sites. And then I can come here, I can say I want to save, then I can say that I want to save it on somewhere, either it's OneDrive, I want to save it on my computer. And I can decide I don't want to save it directly like that. I want to save it in either a new folder or I want to save it in this transformation college business and then I can decide that what is the name. I want to call it Dr. Orlando First Computing Class. Okay. Now, if you're still at this level, then you have a lot of work to do. And I can do this and voila, I've created the document, I've named it, I've saved it, and I've even put content into it. Then I can decide that, oh, there's something, I need to include something, and I'll come and be like, oh, this people didn't tell me that I need to put an organogram now. And I come like, okay, let me put an organogram. Then I put that, oh, Orlando is the founder, Edith runs the organization, and then we have Mercy, and we have Mr. Boma, and then we have Mr. James. And after that, and I look at it, I'm like, hi, I still think I'm missing something. I'm like, you know what? Let me go online. Let me go and look at something that says transformation college. And I can come under images Like I say, hey, this transformation college, okay, let's look at beautiful Mercy. Mercy is very beautiful. Herself and uh, so I can also, okay, in my document, I also want to ensure that I reflect Mercy, and I can come here. I'm like, um, Edith, don't think you're the only one that is fine. No, Mercy is very fine. All of us too were fine. They're not the only one that's in slight complexion and fine. And I also, okay, uh, uh, the face, the face of Transformation College of Business and Technology. Like, I don't like the way this thing is standing in the middle. So you can do anything on your computer. So I mean, it's your computer. You can pass a thought across. They can call me now. I can come and say, okay, you know what? This PowerPoint that I want to focus on, and I'm just going to say, okay, how do I create a brand new PowerPoint presentation to say, oh, you know what? The value um of um deep computing skills to my life, right? Right? And I can come up like, okay, who wrote it? Okay, Dr. Lando, Olumide, Odejide that did it. And I'm going to come here. I'm like, oh, let me look for ah is it Messi all the time? She's the only beautiful person in the organization. I'm like, ah, she's not the only one, no, but she's one of the beautiful ones. I'm like, no, they have to put I have to use another member of their team. Ah, and I'll say, hey, see this other beautiful person, oh, try, try. Uh-uh. Wow, beautiful people. Like, okay, let's drop it here, Joe. So that they'll know that we even have beautiful people in the organization. And I'll pick something like this so that yes, look at it. So I now start creating my presentation. And I'll put my presentation up so that all my neighbors will now see that we have beautiful people in our organization. Hmm. Uh so yeah. So then I now remember that, yay, how would they know that this is Transformation College? Like, let me go and add Transformation College logo to the thing. And I now come and I'll say, okay, let me drop Transformation College logo here so that they know that we're the ones who we're the owners of the beautiful bride. Let them not think that she works for our neighbor. Also, I'm like, this is Transformation College, the value of deep computing skills to my life. I'm not gonna add slide one, slide two, like that, like that, like that. So yeah, pretty much those are the things. As I said, I mean, we can be here all day. There are many things you can do on your computer. You can set up your calendar, you can have your photos, you can do your clock synchronization, you can do paint, you can come to your settings. I'm like, this is my settings. Let me check. And I even find or add a device here. Or what can I do to this particular place? You know, what kind of settings can I have? And I go to my desktop, all right, and say, okay, you know what, change the color of my desktop, Joe. I don't want this kind of desktop that looks very get as it be. I've opened too many things on my computer. I'm like, this is my desktop. Maybe I should just change it and I can go and I can right click and I can think about I think whether it is my display settings or one of these things. I can right click. Somebody say, how will you know that it is right click? Or initially you read it in a book, over time it becomes part of you. You just know what the next steps are or whatever it is that you're doing. Like, I want a different me. New year, new me. What's that thing that people do? New year, new me. Aha. Hey, this one looks very scary. And I don't like this one. I don't like the face of this thing. I'm going to go back to change it to something that is not as scary as that. I just want this simple one like this. I don't want any wahala, Joe. Yeah. So there are many things. I mean, if we sit down here and start talking about all the things that you can do with your computer, all of us will be here till night time. So pretty much that is it, people. Your computer, its properties. I can right click here and say, oh, my taskbar settings. What are my taskbar settings as it is? What are my system settings? Display. So there are many things you can do. All right, people, I think that's it for today, based on today's bit. All right. So Edith has added the Microsoft Office simple guide, not a complex one. All right. I'm sorry, Victor, but I don't use Marco. It's $7. So even if you're getting remote work of $7 per hour in Nigeria and you work for about 8 hours a day, that means you have $50 every day, remote work at the minimum wage. $50 in Nigerian money of today is how much? Isn't $50 like 80K or something like that? Am I right? $50 is like 80K now. So even if all you're getting is $5 per hour as part of remote work, but you have to decide which area, because you can't do anywhere belle face. I can't be here and there like that. So even if all you're collecting is $5 and the $5 come to 50K per day, 50K per day multiplied by 20 working days, it's substantial. So those are the kinds of things. All right, everybody. Yeah, so about 80K. So that means you can be doing remote work and collecting less than minimum wage. And inside Nigeria, you'll still be that money will be seen as maximum wage. All right, everybody, please, before we go, share your thoughts with me. I mean, I've been speaking for a long time today. We've talked about a whole lot of things. I can't even recap everything that I have said, but yes, you have the book, but for your skills perspective, Windows and Office, then of course we'll share some PowerPoint presentations. You can read them. But for skills, it is Windows and Microsoft Office. All right, please give me some feedback. What's your big takeaway today as we bring this session to a close? Give me some feedback. What is your big takeaway today as we bring this session to a close? What is your big takeaway today, everybody? What's your big takeaway? Please help me. Help me. Help me. Spoke to me. Help me, everybody. What's your big takeaway today? Everybody, please. I want everybody to type in the chat room. I beg of you. Please type in the chat room. Type in the chat room, everybody. What's your takeaway? Just a simple sentence, some simple sentences. What is it? Skills. Thank you very much. Of skill, yes, thank you. Just some simple words or sentences. What's your big takeaway? I just want to know that at least you've gained something from this class. Because we're Transformation College, even we are students of this school. I'm a student. Sometimes when I'm in some of those sessions, I'm not an expert accountant. I'm not an expert economist. I'm not an expert when it comes to civil, what's that thing, civic education. So even I am a student in some of the classes. Yes. Yes, vertical growth. Outside Nigeria, it's horizontal. Outside of the country, they just need you to be a specialist. They don't need you to be, I can do HR, I can do finance, I can do customer service, I can also do IT. Outside of the country, what is your specialization? Well, in Nigeria, you can go around telling everybody that I can do any and everything. Okay? On the computing side, so what is important? Windows for me, or MacBook. The configuration of MacBook. I mean, as an organization I worked with this, I said they're the biggest, and they have about 700 MacBooks in their organization. About 700 MacBooks, so if not more. They only use MacBooks in that organization. Okay, good. All right. So, what exactly are some of my assignments for you into next week, everybody? Everybody, please learn some things about Windows. Try this week, learn some things about Microsoft Office, especially Excel plus PowerPoint. Learn to use AI prompt to guide you on various computing on various computing what's the word now? Basics. Okay. Those are some of my assignments to all of you. Windows, Microsoft Office, especially Excel and PowerPoint. Learn to use AI to guide you on various computing topics. Learn to use AI on your Instagram, AI on your WhatsApp, and then, of course, everybody must learn how to use Chat GPT. Everybody must learn how to use Chat GPT. So please get on top of these things. And also, the other thing is that everybody must go to a remote work site, and start to look for roles that you can apply for in the next 6 months. And then, of course, start to work on a plan to work and earn in dollars. Start to work on plan to work and earn in dollars. Thank you very much, Victor. Thank you, everyone. It's been great talking to you. I've enjoyed myself, and I'm hoping. Yes, thank you very much, Glory. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right. So Gloria has written it out for all of us. Thank you very much. So please get on these things this week. We're focused on earning dollars. We're the dollar earning community. All of us here, we are the dollar earning community. So we really need to start to get towards earning in dollars, even if we're earning less than the United States minimum wage. If we earn only $5, that means it's illegal to pay anybody $5 in the United States. But we will accept it as part of our remote work. We'll accept it. So once again, please get on top of some of these things, and I'm hoping that our journey of becoming global experts and people who have a global outlook. Everybody, I said that. All of us, we need to have a global outlook of ourselves, of our organizations, of the businesses that we run, of our career. We need to have a global outlook. Thank you very much, everyone. God bless you. Have a great remaining part of your day. I believe you're meant to have filled the attendance form. You'll probably share it again. We've also included a lot of things in the chat room while we were doing this. Hopefully, you've captured a lot of them, and hopefully you're also on the WhatsApp group. Thank you once again. Edith and Mercy, over to you. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. Have a great remaining part of your weekend from me. Thank you. Edith and Merci.
All right. Please confirm if you can hear me. Hello, can anyone hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you, ma.
Okay. All
I
right.
can
Thank
hear
you
you.
so much, Doctor. It's been a very, very educative session with you. It's always a good time having you as the trainer or lecturer in class. And I know everybody in class today would agree with me. And so please let's appreciate Doctor with a round of applause in the chat room. Yes, I can see your comments. Appreciate him for sharing his time with us and sharing this great knowledge with us today. Thank you so much, Doctor. It's been great having you in class. All right. So I believe we've all taken note of the assignments, and these are for your own good. All right. Please let's take our classes seriously and take these assignments seriously. At the end of the day, it's for your own good. All right. And please engage and take note of every instructions and information passed in the chat room. I can, especially on WhatsApp, we've dropped all the links in the chat room as well, and on the WhatsApp platform. Please make sure to click on those sites, read up and learn. All right, and we've come to the end of today's session. And for those of you who are asking about the recorded version of this class, by Monday, the class would be up on our YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, do so. You can also find the YouTube channel in the WhatsApp platforms. So please subscribe. So whenever we drop these, we upload rather these classes, you can easily get the notifications and follow up on the recorded version. All right, so we've come to the end of today's class, and we'll see you again next week, Saturday. Please, let's always try to keep to time. All right, let's try to keep to time so we can always start on time and end on time. So do have a wonderful, wonderful weekend ahead, and we'll see you again next Saturday. Stay happy and stay blessed.